God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting intrusive to the show. That they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
As they did there, and they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another edition of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, hashtag DMDMW. I am your host, Phil S. Marks, and today Jim Cornette unloads on Dave Meltzer's 5-star rating system, and we have some 5 stars from throughout the week. Mercedes Monet calls out Dave Meltzer as well as Tony Khan for a lack of star ratings. Dave Meltzer desperately shills AEW while arguing with Bryan Alvarez again. He calls Ariel Helwani and his World MMA Awards fake. All of that and more on this edition of DMDMW. Guys, hit like, hit subscribe, patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times for bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. If you're watching this on replay, hype the video. If you're listening to this on podcast, give it 5 stars like a Wrestling Observer Award. And you can super chat in, gift a membership, become a member if you are watching this on YouTube. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, get your flutes in the chat, because it is time for everybody's favorite show, and it is called Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. Featuring Bryan Alvarez.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
So today we start things off with Dave Meltzer talking about the Conor McGregor fight and trashing Ariel Helwani for some reason. So this was Dave Meltzer's expert MMA analysis of the Conor McGregor leg break or ACL tear or whatever the fuck happened. Now, I've said this a million times, okay? Dave Meltzer is going to be exposed by MMA fans eventually. I don't think they care enough about him yet. And now that pay-per-view doesn't matter, they have no need for him unless they're looking at historical context stuff. With that being said, though, Dave will start to get called out by MMA fans sooner or later when he tries to do these overlaps and the way he's been exposed by pro wrestling fans, and when he does things like call Ariel Helwani's World MMA Awards fake and popularity contests, which we're going to get into. Here's his analysis of the Conor fight, and then we'll get into the Ariel stuff.
Conor's return, which was very brief. Conor hurt his knee. He just recently tweeted and said he went through the entire training camp doing everything and was not injured. Take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of has to say that, because if he went and hurt, it's kind of like with all the gambling and everything. It's, you know.
So Dave immediately conspiracy theory. He has to say that because if he said he was hurt when he went in, he wasn't hurt going in. Even I thought that because the UFC broadcast showed the thing of him walking in and shaking his leg out weird, but then footage was released of him in the back hitting pads, and he was just throwing that kick multiple times over and over again. He was training that jumping switch kick his entire camp, apparently.
Kind of a fraud. So,
Dave's calling him a fraud, shitting on him. And again, UFC is TKO, so Dave's going to shit on it.
I mean, I don't know that he's hurt or not, but or going win and hurt or not, but the fact he said it doesn't mean anything to me at all. It was very disappointing. They showed a clip of him going to the ring, and he certainly looked like he was limping.
No, he didn't look like he was limping. He looked like they were checking him, and then he like shook his leg off. There's no limping footage. He never limped anywhere. Dave is entirely inventing that.
Yeah,
this is before the fight, and that's
because he's just reading Twitter. He doesn't really know. He doesn't have an opinion. He didn't look into any of this.
That's why there's so much controversy about
the controversy about it is because it ended in 1 second, not because he was limping. So Dave is attributing the controversy to this fight ending in 1 second to the fact that he was limping before. No, it's because he hurt himself. That's the controversy. It's because it was the Mac was returning. That's the controversy. And also, it's because the broadcast themselves showed him just shaking his leg on the way into the cage. And they were like, if you look before when he's getting in the cage, he seems to look at his leg, and who knows, that was just he was just shaking his leg out. And maybe he did begin to tear it training those kicks in the back. We don't know, but he didn't know until you're in live action, live combat. You don't really know. Is it bad enough where I can keep going? Is it bad enough where I'm too hurt to where I can't do shit? We just recently saw Yuri Prohaska take on Ulberg, and Ulberg like blew his knee out, couldn't even stand on it, backed up against the cage and just fucking threw hands and won by KO. So Conor threw a kick, was like, oh, that's weird, got up, threw another kick, was like, oh, I'm fucked. Then he tried to box, fell down again. His leg, he can't even put weight on it. He's done. Dave is saying, oh, he was limping around. No, he wasn't. He wouldn't have been allowed in the cage if he's limping around and shit.
Because, I mean, the first thing he does.
And also, this is what's so funny is that Max Holloway, people were like, look, he's limping around before the fight. They were saying Holloway was limping around. So now Dave is just lost in the sauce because he spends too much time on Twitter.
Basically, he does a jump up spinning kick and lands, I guess, on the right knee, right?
No, he didn't do a jump spinning kick. So Dave didn't even watch this. He's just a goddamn liar being. This is why this is important. I know it doesn't have to do with pro wrestling, but he's just flat out. Here's him talking about other stuff where he's just lying.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
So Conor McGregor typically fights southpaw, which is with your left hand back. He came out orthodox, which is with your right hand back. He came out orthodox, and then he tried to throw like a jumping roundhouse, a jumping switch kick into southpaw. It wasn't a 360. What did he say? A wheel kick? No, he never did that.
And it absolutely looked bad. And from there, he was done.
Yeah, he falls, and they're, the commentator's like, what's going on? What's going on? And then Max hit him a couple times, and he looked at the ref, and he's like, he can't fight.
Okay, that's true, but it seems as though Paul Fontaine, actually watched the goddamn match. So good on you, Dave, for not even watching shit and then talking about it. And the same people who will call me a WWE shill, and you don't watch AEW, bro, even though I watch all of AEW. Too much AEW, in my opinion. Meanwhile, this is their king. This is sicko hive mind Vecna right here. Okay? He doesn't even watch shit. He's talking about it. It's crazy. He didn't even watch the clip on Twitter of what actually happened. It's fucking nutty. So we move along here, and while on the topic of MMA, Ariel Helwani, of course, he knows Nick Khan. He's close with Nick Khan, and Dave Meltzer has called Ariel Helwani a shill in the past. But then Ariel Helwani had some AEW wrestlers on there, and Dave's all down with it. But because he thought thought Tony Khan was a weirdo when he interviewed Tone, Dave is calling Ariel a clear shill. You can't trust anything he says. Blah, 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 right? So Meltzer said what? The GOAT posts this. Explosive accusations by Dave Meltzer against Ariel Helwani after winning the fake popularity contest MMA Reporter of the Year award and accusing Ariel of platforming Conor McGregor. Bryan Alvarez refused to do this segment with Dave on Wednesday. So also Bryan is trying to virtue signal here like a little bitch. You Ariel platformed Conor. I won't even talk about this because I don't like him. Right? He's trying to virtue signal. And Dave and Bryan are accusing Ariel's World MMA Awards, which are the World MMA Awards. It's not just UFC. It's not just TKO. It's the World MMA Awards, which all of the people who receive those awards think they're legit as fuck. Paddy Pimblett, who had an amazing entrance and an amazing performance before Conor McGregor blew his knee out. Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Baddie, had everybody does like the way there's an Oba Femi strut. Paddy has like an arm wag, I guess you could call it, where he waves his arms in the air and the crowd all does it with him. And they wear his blonde wigs, right? And he had a 57-second submission win. Okay. And he got tricked into winning his World MMA Award, and it meant the world to him. Paddy the Baddie, one of the most legit guys who's a fucking sports entertainer as much as he's a pro athlete through and through, okay? And to him, it's serious, Dave. It's not a fake popularity contest. It's a real award that meant something to him. Now, Ariel Helwani, for context, all right? Ariel Helwani's won this award, the MMA Reporter of the Year. He's won it 16 or 17 years in a row. This isn't a joke. And he's won it so many times that the World MMA Awards, the discussion is, we're going to name the award after Ariel Helwani. It will just become known as the Ariel Helwani Award, and then other people can start winning it. And maybe Helwani can give it to people because he's won it so many times. Okay? And it is a prestigious award. And it's an award that people take seriously even when they're nominated for it because they know Ariel's going to win it. But that's just a fake popularity contest award, according to Dave. And Bryan Alvarez is a virtue signaling little bitch.
Been a really interesting week because I almost felt...
Now, Ariel, me and the homeless cats at PF Chang's are going to need you to 10-7 Dave for this. Okay, Buppa? Reddit understands what I'm talking about.
Once the week started and I actually started writing and thinking about it, I think that it was the come to earth moment for MMA journalism, kind of like the Janelle Grant lawsuit was for wrestling journalism.
Dave, you are off on fucking Pluto. You're in Jupiter right now, inhaling the gas. You don't know what the fuck you're ever talking about. Don't talk about actual journalists. It's so funny, too, because the MMA journalists get fucking clowned all the time because they don't ask serious shit. Meanwhile, Dave, you are a step to 3 steps below them. That's how the world views you.
And it was similar. I think that the majority ran as fast as they could away, and the few ran towards it as hard as they could. And it was really telling. Ariel Helwani and I have been, I think friends and cordial and all that, right? So
you think friends and cordial. Ariel believes you're friends and cordial. Aunt Evans, who works with Ariel, is friendly with you. But yet you've gone on record calling Ariel a shill and saying that nothing he says can be believed because he knows Nick Khan, so clearly he's a shill. And now you're about to shit on him again. You're a garbage person, Dave. You're a garbage person.
And the other night he got voted, MMA Journalist of the Year, and of course he did. He always does. It's popularity contest.
No, it's not a popularity contest. It's because he gets the best interviews, the most compelling interviews. The fighters who don't give interviews go to him for interviews. They give him the interviews. He gets the fighters before their fights, after their fights. Okay.
Everything. He always got that. I knew he would win. And it's like, it's cool and all that. And like most years when he won, it's like, hey, I know that guy and I knew him before he was famous. And, I applaud his success. I always liked hanging around with him. I know that there's a lot of things in the last few years where, and rightly so, where, he gets criticized and from me too. But this one, like when he got that on Wednesday night, when I was getting my texts, I actually wanted to talk about it on the show Wednesday, but Bryan didn't want to. So I said, I'll do it on Friday. So I'm glad you brought it up, this whole subject up. So I'm getting my texts, and it's like, he won MMA Journalist of the Year. And it was like, well, of course he did. And then it's like, it really bothered me badly, like way more than it should, because I know it's like a fan voted fake award. Not fake, but fan voted, right? It's popular contest.
Oh my God, dude.
Because it's like,
so your award is fan voted. So when we call it fake, well, not fake. And then he tries to go, well, it's not fake. Well, then why'd you call it fake?
Like the chips are down, and some guys ran in and some guys ran out, and he did what he did. Like he platformed Conor.
He platformed Conor. Dude, the views Conor did for Ariel, Conor platformed Ariel, buddy. Like, what are you talking about? Some journalists ran away from it. Some ran into it.
And
yeah, it's the biggest fight. Like, Dave, I know that you do this shoddy journalism where you, like, the problem with platforming is this is what platforming is. If you put someone on your platform and then you just let them say a bunch of bullshit and you don't push back at all, it doesn't mean you have to be aggro and like try and run everyone off. But if you don't push back at all, then that's platforming, right? If you want to do a tell-all of their side of things, even in those instances, people push back a little bit, okay? But that's what platforming is. Otherwise, like, you're allowed to interview anyone. People interview serial killers and shit. Is that platforming a serial killer? I don't know, man. It's like I know you do shoddy, janky.
It's been a really interesting week, because I almost felt once the week started and I actually started writing.
Fucking Dave, no one cares what you wrote. So we move along here, okay? And that was like the MMA talk section and him taking shots at Ariel. We might have actually more on Ariel. Let me just check really quickly before we get into this other stuff. And then, yeah, we have Dave versus Russo and all types of stuff. I just want to make sure I didn't skip. Okay, so Dave Meltzer's attack on Ariel Helwani continued.
But still, the fact that nobody is writing about this very important issue, it bothers me, and yes, going back to the thing before, it's like, I don't think that this year that the journalist of the year should be the guy who didn't go into this subject and other stuff.
So you're virtue signaling over, the guy who wins reporter of the year because of this one thing shouldn't be the guy who talked to McGregor. Why? Because he lost a court case where he's now, for those of you who don't know, Conor was accused of grape or whatever. I don't know how to word it because I don't know exactly what it was, right? And as much as I want to be like, yeah, fuck him and everything, unfortunately for the girl in question, the woman in question, there's video of her like all over him and shit. So I really don't know. No one really knows. Okay. As unpopular as people like to pretend Conor is in Ireland and stuff, he isn't entirely. Now, I am very much a fan of a channel called Napoleon Blown Apart. He fucking roasts Conor hard as shit. So I'm not above like, yeah, roast it. Like, that's fucked up. But as far as that situation goes, that's very much one where it's like, I don't know, man. It's questioned. It wasn't even like hidden in private. There's a bunch of public shit you can look to between him and that girl and whatever, I'm not trying to sweep for Conor. If he went out there and got starched, it would make no difference to me. Like, it was awesome that Conor was back and shit. You want to see if he could recreate that magic that he once had. But I'm a fight fan, and it was a big fight. him blowing out his leg, I want to hit him with the Nate Diaz. Like, I'm not surprised, motherfucker. Like, dude, he snapped his leg in half before all that shit. A real journalist is the one who dives head first and will interview that guy and see where he's at. Dave wants to make it like Ariel Shilling again just because it's a TKO thing. That's all it is. So if Conor came back and did Netflix MVP, MMA or whatever the fuck it's called, and he did a fight against Jake Paul and it beat UFC, Dave would be glazing it, talking about it, writing about it. Oh, TKO in the mud. Dave would be all over that. But now he's sitting here calling this award a fake award. But then he's saying the person who deserves the fake award is someone who refused to talk to Conor. Fuck you. Like, you're a clown just because you refuse to engage with anybody who actually might press you or make you uncomfortable or make you actually learn something, etc., doesn't mean that that's not good journalism, Dave. You don't know the definition of good journalism.
Subjects, in depth, such as the law, the Kung Lee case and the other case that sprung from it. So, I guess that's why Bob
Kung Lee case, bro. It wasn't just the Kung Lee case. This is what I mean. He doesn't even get his details right. The Kung Lee case. Dave, shut up. You just don't even know what you're talking about. Someone clip this and send it to MMA Guru. We need MMA Guru roasting this mushmouth motherfucker.
with me. It's like, that's not the journalist of the year. The journalist of the year runs to and goes in depth on
UFC fucking tried to ban Ariel Helwani from their events. That's not journalist of the year because he talked to Conor McGregor. And this is what Dave's talking about. Yeah, it is. That's actually what the journalist of the year would do. Okay? They would do actual journalism. It's just such cornball shit. Ariel does his job to such a degree that they fucking UFC tried to ban him from their events. And then when he was unbanned or whatever, he showed up to a press conference and he got a standing ovation from all of the media members and the fans in attendance. They all clapped and applauded that Ariel was there. And Dana White fucking hated it. Dave, when you walk in the room with other journalists, they think you're a goddamn redact buddy. They think you're a fucking slobbery weirdo.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
They all accuse you of stealing their shit, of taking their stories and extrapolating upon them. They don't do that with Ariel. Love Ariel, hate Ariel. Ariel might even try and drum shit up between fighters. He's done that. I think there's pretty solid evidence to prove that he has done that in the past, Ariel. That's one thing. Okay? But don't you dare, Dave. Don't you dare.
Cases. It's not pretty. It's not sexy. It's not popular.
Tons of blowback.
Dave, it's not pretty or sexy or popular to cover AEW the way you do, but you still do. And you consider yourself the best in the world at fucking dirt sheet journalism. You're the lowest of the low. You're the lowest. You're below me because you report pro wrestling news seriously. I just make fun of you and it. You don't understand that, Dave.
You're going to get tons of blowback, but that's...
You got no blowback. Zero blowback. You're the only one giving blowback. And this is to someone that you consider your friend, who you're trying to throw under the bus and shit on because you're a piece of shit.
Journalist of the year is the one who should get the blowback, not the one who does
part of the gig.
That's
okay. So we'll move on from this, but I do want to make one point, which I find, and this has more to.
And then Garrett, I do want to make one point though, but you are right, Daddy Dave. Please keep paying me a salary from the money we fucking work these marks out of. Holy shit, man. What a piece of shit Dave Meltzer is. I'm back. Has been a member for 3 months. And he says, at what point does Dave get put in the old folks' home, willingly or unwillingly? I don't know, man. That's a question for Bryan Alvarez, who hopefully is sending him there soon. Okay? So we move along here. And let's talk about Dave Meltzer melting down about Dark Side of the Ring and burying Vince Russo, and somehow when going at Vince Russo for being a dumbass, which it's the easiest guy ever to go at is Vince Russo. And somehow Dave makes himself look stupid trying to go at Vince Russo, which is just fucking hilarious. It's so good. And so here's Dave Meltzer's thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Dark Side of the Ring on TNA.
Thought Jeff Jarrett came off tremendously well. Karen came off very well as well. She did
very well as well, Bryan.
I've seen people go. It was a whole bunch of carnies telling carny stories, and we didn't get the real truth. And there's a lot of that too. I didn't feel
there's a bunch of carnies telling carny stories. We didn't get the whole truth. Okay, so who's on there? D'Lo Brown's a carny. I mean, all the wrestlers are carnies, but like Dave, for him to say using the word mark is like using the N-word, Bryan. Literally, he said that. You're not allowed to call them carnies, bro.
Dixie was asked to be on the thing. She refused to do it, or she turned it down. Tenay turned it down. Sahadi was on, who, he knew most of the stuff. Russo, Steiner, who was, more open, and he's very tight with Jeff. He was more open than Steiner was better than you would expect, probably. And they brought up that there were guys in there that came from WWE that were, they had a shot at Kevin Nash, and it's just like there were people there who just saw it as their vacation between gigs in WWE. And there were a lot of people like that. And and
it's so funny how Dave will say this about TNA, but when it comes to AEW, nope. There's nobody marking in Tone. There's no similarities between Dixie Carter and Tone, other than everything besides the bank account.
The big mistake of catering to them above the young guys,
so like what AEW did, but you don't criticize them for catering to the old New Japan guys and the old WWE guys instead of focusing on their young guys, which now let's say they are doing. Too little, too late.
The one thing now where a lot of people will go, they're focusing too much on the old guys, whether it's WWE, sometimes AEW people as well.
Sometimes AEW as well. Sometimes, I mean, not always, but sometimes you say that about AEW. What a fucking putz.
But more WWE, obviously we're hearing that all the time. The one thing is that
obviously WWE's hearing that more and more all the time, but not my precious AEW, Bryan.
Poor people don't like AEW. Difference is the older guys in WWE and in AEW who are focused on, they work their ass off. They have names. Again, there have been times Bryan and I both have said it's too much, too many. You don't want the show to look old.
So literally, man, this motherfucker's talking about the dark side of the ring. Here's Dave Meltzer's thoughts on the dark side of the ring, TNA. He can't even go a minute and a half without going, but WWE, WWE, Bryan, WWE. Holy shit,
but
man.
It's not really goof. The guys at least work hard. Those guys, and you remember in TNA, those guys they weren't working hard at all. They were laughing their way through it,
Who, though? Be more specific. Like RVD and Jeff Hardy and Sting and Kurt Angle? Or are we talking like Nash, Hall, Steiner? Like, who are we talking about, Dave? He's just such a goofball. He doesn't speak clearly. He doesn't really make a point, but in his mind, he is making this point that he's not actually making, that nobody's receiving because he's not making it clear, and he thinks he's conveying more than he is because he's just mush-brained and mental. Fucking cooked guy, man. So Dave Meltzer, here's a couple throwbacks. Okay, so this is going back in time a little bit. Actually, this was recently here, and then we're going to go back in time, but this is him talking about elaborating more on the TNA Impact, AEW, WWE stuff, because of course he couldn't help himself. So El Hijo de Snowman says, can Dave not count? The 2 million Raw gets is clearly more than the 600 to 700K Dynamite gets weekly. And Dave Meltzer tweeted this out to Sarah, this lady, Sarah Licity, says, drawing in 1.9 million on cable in 2009 is not as good as drawing in 700,000 in 2026. USA was regularly drawing in 4 to 5 million for their scripted shows. Raw was blah, 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 blah. All these people are coping, and none of them can even explain how Netflix works. So shut up. Dave goes, and look, this is in response to this thing, this handle, Dave Meltzer, and 2 others. So this Sarah Licity person is like in a debate with like 4 other people talking, and then Dave jumps in there to quote tweet this little factoid. Like but he doesn't have time to rate Mercedes Moné's match, which we're gonna get into. So Dave goes, well, actually, Impact never came, close to WWE programming. Dynamite clearly beats Raw in total viewers in the US, but not SmackDown. Holy fucking shit, guys.
Retard alert! Retard alert, class!
And like, we can break this down further, and we'll do it in a minute, but was 294,000 shy this past week, not including Max. So it's 100% of SmackDown homes versus 60% of Dynamite homes. Yeah. But meanwhile, as Raj will explain, as other people will explain. So like, here's Sports Life posted this. Doesn't Nielsen have a multiplier to the view count to adjust for multiple people watching from a household? Aren't Netflix streams simple counts? Yes, Netflix is views. Okay? Netflix is like YouTube. And I've broken this down before. This is why, let's say, Jimmy Kimmel, there was 10 million people watching The Tonight Show. Not that much, right? But 7 million people tuned into The Tonight Show. Okay, but here's the problem, right? There's a multiplier on that. They get paid 70 million, let's say. But then Spotify pulls up and they give Joe Rogan 100 million, and people are like, he has the biggest show in the world. People would rather do his show. I think other pods beat his now, actually, but doesn't matter. We're talking at the time and just in general. There's a reason for that, because you have to go on YouTube and go find his video and play his video. You have to go on Netflix and play it. That's a view. You have to physically go. If I leave my TV on and I go out back with the kids while they play and have a drink and fucking water the garden and the kids are playing, let's say, and you leave the TV on, whatever was before Dynamite, it's a multiplier, bro. Like, that doesn't just count as one view, and you didn't actually have to go out of your way, and the lead-in greatly increases it. So Dave takes the overall average, which is a greatly increased lead-in, and then a fall off by the end of the show. It's like nobody's watching it. And Dave says that's certainly 100% more than WWE on Netflix. That doesn't even make sense. More people go to Netflix in the US just to search the show out. And it's views. Okay? we're not even talking replay views or anything like that. So Raj says, yep, they combine panel demo data. That includes demos, viewers per home, how long they're watching, with overall big data viewership. Netflix is just views. So if I watch a full episode of Raw with 10 people, that's one view. Do you guys get it? So let's say I'm a fucking basement dwelling incel and I turn on Raw or I turn on Dynamite. Guess what? It counts that as like 2.5 people automatically. Netflix is just the views. So if like Raj said, if I'm sitting with my family and click on Raw, and you think people aren't doing that, Dave? Well, people are doing that for Dynamite. No, they're fucking not, is the point. They're not. And the key demo fell off, which he was melting down about. And Nielsen keeps switching their shit up, seemingly. And you definitely know this, but you don't address it. And then you claim Netflix is doing weird stuff with the numbers. No, bitch. They're just doing what streaming is. You just don't get it because you're old. You're an old fart. So even WrestleMania, WrestleMania only did, it's a flop. How do you know people weren't having WrestleMania parties though? One person puts it on, there's 50 people at their fucking house or 10 people at their house. It's actually greater, but I don't play that number. So when I do ratings wars, again, Phil S. Marks is the fairest in the land. Okay? Because I don't play that game. I just take the shit at face value and I go, we're not going to play that. We're just going to look at the numbers, what the data says. But so many of these idiots don't even understand this simple thing that, like, I don't even explain good. So I try not to. And we just read what Raj says or what other people say. But it's just like, you have to understand this, right? It's views. It's all streaming. I just say this. It's moving into like YouTube, social media. That's the most important shit. Streams, retention rate. These are the most important factors. Fuck beings, man. So anyways, Dave and these guys are coping because TNA had a great Dark Side of the Ring that probably got more viewership than fucking Dynamite does. Dave is coping about Impact's ratings back then. Back to the Future, right? So I think I may have skipped over it, but he was talking about the Impact ratings. Pardon the death scrolling here. We'll just read this part, right? So the last part, this is what AEW Mole posted here. Shout him out. And Dave Meltzer says, Spike hated Vince Russo. Spike thought he was a fraud. Dixie, for whatever reason, was convinced he was this creative genius who created Rockin' Austin and kept hiring him. Like, this is just message board repeat, YouTube comment, like repeat shit. She, secretly hired him and everyone was sworn to secrecy. Then he emailed notes for the announcers for a show to Mike Johnson instead of Mike tonight. Johnson wrote about that. There were hours of total chaos. So, Dave, is Mike Johnson a real journalist then because he dove into the shit and the blowback he probably got from stooging that and some of the sources he may have lost for stooging that? Or is that real journalism to be like, yo, this guy just stooged me a fucking letter? There were hours of total chaos in the office because they knew they were screwed. He's telling it like it's a fucking novel that he wrote, a fake story. Dave, you weren't there. A few days later, I was told Spike had canceled the show but would let it run until the end of the contract. Then listen to this. But I couldn't report it because nobody knew. Oh my God.
The only reason
dude.
I know about this is because I know about it.
What a fucking
Are you sure about that?
What a liar, man. A few days later, I was told Spike had canceled the show but would let it run until the end of the contract. But I couldn't report it because nobody knew. So, like, Mike Johnson was sent that email and nobody knew. And then he came forth with it because it was supposed to go to Mike Tenay, but it went to him. You couldn't come forth with your expert kung fu fighting journalism there, Dave? Because nobody knew? Oh, you mean like how you just explained Mike Johnson was based for leaking that shit out? But you couldn't do that. You were unable to do that when it came to your fucking little fake thing that you're making up. Idiot. Holy shit, what a bum. Then it came out. That was the reason. But publicly, so again, it came out through other people. So you pretended you knew in hindsight. You're make-believing. You're adding an extra few yards to that fucking high school football story. Then it came out. That was the reason. But publicly, people claimed it was canceled because they still had months left and didn't want it official until much later. Brian. So just like making up, trying to rewrite history and shit. Oh my God, what a bum. So yeah, he goes, but was not including Max, just talking about the ratings. So it's 100% of SmackDown homes or 60% of Dynamite homes. You're such an idiot. And so This person goes, in what world does Dynamite clearly beat at PSVS? Says, in what world does Dynamite clearly beat Raw and total viewers in the US? Raj, can you help me understand? And Raj says it's silly. Nielsen has shown how unreliable they are over the past year, and to compare those numbers to a Netflix streaming number where there are no demos present, no viewers per home, etc., is asinine. Anywhere you can do actual apples to apples comparisons. SmackDown Nielsen numbers to AEW, attendances, Google Trends, YouTube views, etc. It's clear which fucking ticket prices, right? We can keep going. It's clear which product more people are watching. That's not to say AEW isn't doing well. They are, but these comparisons are just stupid. It's just dumb stuff, Dave. And this is why you don't win anybody's Journalist of the Year award, but your own. Okay? Because it doesn't make sense at all what you're fucking saying, right? And so I hate when all these fucking idiots, they either like don't give enough context, like Dave. He embellishes the truth. He lies by omission is, I guess, the right way to phrase it. He omits details and facts to try and spread a lie. So it's greatly ignorant, or you're a lying liar who lies. Or you're a grifting grifter who grifts. It's one of those three things, right? Like, or you're a fucking lunatic and you really believe this shit. But you don't. Dave's just a shill, and we know this. Or people extrapolate and embellish and go to the extremities, and you see sickos right now going, yeah, AEW's really running out of money and are worried and are going to die, and they're really worried. No, nobody that you should be listening to or that's sensible says that, okay, sickos? If you're hate watching this right now, nobody actually thinks that AEW, like we all know Tone has infinite bucks. It's just a matter of do they last on TV or not? Is Tone, like once they, let's say they do end up on my AEW/YouTube, which isn't even a bad thing, by the way. These fucking idiots just think that's like the world's worst thing. It's not even like that bad of a thing. You can hide the numbers better this way and stuff too. It's not even the worst thing. It's just really bad because Tone already sucks at promotion. So then he's really got to promote the shit. And he's got to find advertisers on his own. There's no Warner Bros. Going, hey, can we put Superman on your fucking... Nobody's doing that. They only did that with AEW before because it's one of the shows on their fucking thing. If Sex and the City was on their thing, they'd be fucking, hey, can we do a crossover ad with, I don't know the actress's names, Sarah Jessica Parker and David Corn Sweat, Rachel Brosnahan, or what? Right? So Dave, he's just so full of shit, and anything palatable, it proves completely the opposite of what he says about Impact, about WWE and everything else. And then the shit he makes up, like the pay-per-view numbers and the max numbers, are the only thing, and the invisible money that's rolling into Tone, that's the only stuff where we can actually, or where he's saying that AEW actually stands a chance and is clearly beating Raw and shit. It's just stupid. It's incredibly fake and phony. It's a great lie. It's grifting to the max. This is grifting. And that's why Dave goes fraudcast grifters, because that's what he is. He just talked about the Conor thing, not even knowing what he was talking about. He just talked about it anyways. Okay? It's pretty fucking nutty. You have to be able to be like, I don't know. You have to be able to pull a Lex when you don't know. And it doesn't mean you can't talk about things, but go, I don't really know what I'm talking about here, but what I'm digging is this. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. Dave doesn't do that. CWJ28845 says, by some miracle, if Dave Meltzer's right, then doesn't that make AEW viewership worse due to poor social media metrics? Thank you and be well. Dude, thank you and you be well. Yeah, I believe that is absolutely correct. AEW's viewership would be even worse if you were to just factor in the fact it's a multiplier, guys, and the lead-in and all of these things. And then Tone knows the quarterlies. I might have called it the key demos earlier. I may have misspoke, whatever. I was ranting. The quarterlies, Tone is seeing that shit. Tone knows what they're doing on Max. Tone knows this stuff. And if he doesn't, he is just being hustled. Then I believe Niccolo Piccolo even more, because that means they're just treating Tone like a little bitch and they treat him like a dumb fuck kid who doesn't know anything. which is crazy. I don't believe that. I believe Tone knows all this stuff, and he doesn't qualify or confirm any of it because it's not true. But he also doesn't deny it, because why would you deny people saying your shit's lit? Right? I don't fucking blame Tone for, like, I honestly don't. I give Tone way less flack than him trying to keep kayfabe. I just more make fun of his antics and how much of a weirdo he is. But Tone's own words is this: we hope to be profitable. That's what he fucking said in an interview. Then he reiterated that. Hopefully start making profit and shit, or however he worded it. He did it in another interview like 3, 4, 5 months later, 6, 7 months later, right? 6, 7. No. Hey, boomers, are we memeing? Is this what the kids do? He then said something similar in another interview. Everyone pointed it out. Like, they are not profitable. They haven't made any money, which is fine. Not all businesses make money, but Dave's an idiot. Lies says they do, and then we point out he's an idiot. Then he has a meltdown, and then I do this show, and we do it all again. CM, bunch of numbers for 5. Says, I don't know what is worse, Dave or the hundreds of copy-paste dirt sheet sites like WrestleLamia, What Culture, etc. They blindly redub Dave's lies as truth. Absolutely. And as we point out here on hashtag DMDMW, as we point out here, they just copy and paste his shit with the spelling errors in it. And speaking of which, we're going to destroy Dave and the Observer because they did an error with a comma where it matters, because it has to do with dollars, and they did not retract or fix it. And I know they did it to run cover for AEW right now with this shitty $100,000 lawsuit. Dave's like, what? 100,000? Even he's like, this is fucked. Okay. So let's continue. You know what they say.
Poor people don't like AEW.
And thank you for the super chats. So let's get into Dave Meltzer's star ratings controversy here that has been going on before we get into some desperate AEW shilling. So Dave Meltzer's recent star ratings from this week went down, some of them, okay? And we're going to talk about them right here. I have a graphic pulled up. I think I bookmarked the Drain Bamager or the Drain Maker or whatever, at the Drain Maker. Wrestling Observer newsletter star ratings for this week. Are you guys ready? Mercedes versus Maya, not rated yet still. He refuses to rate the Monet
He
match.
had Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
We're going to get to this in a second, okay? We're going to circle back to that. Keep that in the back of your mind. Fletcher versus Commander, 4 3/4 stars. One of the greatest matches of all time. From a guy that Dave's called a jobber who just got a visa, came back, and then he just did some flips to the outside and took Fletcher to the limit. That's a 4 and one of the greatest matches he's ever seen. Also, Davis versus Speedball on Collision got 4 3/4. Tsuji versus Takeshita got 4 3/4. Newman versus Uemura got 4.5 stars. Death Riders versus Top Flight, AR Fox Commander got 4.5 stars. ZSJ versus Shota Umino, 4 1/4 star. Darby versus Cage, 4 1/4 star. Mercedes, Bane, and Cross versus Nightingale, Maya World High-End, 4 stars. So Dave still hasn't rated this other match, gives this match 4 stars. Megan Bane's in it. Lena Cross is in it. He's willing to give it 4 stars. That's all I'm saying. Oyoa versus Bolton, 3 3/4. Bandito versus Shibata, 3 3/4. Andrade versus Doyle, 3.5. Cage versus Wentz, 3.5 stars. Okay. So this is just egregious. It's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. And Mercedes Moné actually said something about this. However, Dave Meltzer commented on this. So this has been going on for a while. So back at Forbidden Door, Mercedes Moné took on Maya World, right? And of course, Dave Meltzer was there. He couldn't star rate it. Now, my conspiracy theory, because I don't remember how the times line up, my theory is that during this match, Dave threw on the Kendall Gray match and like went to take a piss and stuff. And I think the Kendall Gray match was going on. Let your boy Phil know. Was the Kendall Gray match going on while the Monet match was going on or while they were making their entrances? I can't remember, but Great American Bash was on. I swear he was just looking down at his phone. So Dave Meltzer gave an update on the Mercedes Moné My World star rating. And this is what Dave says. I've got 2 stories and 3 TV show reviews plus news today. I think if I can get everything done by 1:30 a.m., I'll watch the match. Odds are against it, though. But, Dave, you watched it there and you rated everything else that you watched there. And we also covered on the show that he said, well, TV matches are much different than crowd matches, right? Like, when, or how does he word it? If you're in the crowd watching a match, it's different than if you're at home on TV watching the match. It's a different vibe completely. And it's like, okay, so then you just dismissed your whole star rating system because a bunch of those matches, I promise you've only seen live, and a bunch of them, I promise you've only seen on TV and on tapes through tape trades. So what's the real star rating? So this star rating, because you watched it on TV for Monet. And by the way, I've been putting Monet over for a long time. I know that I make fun of her. And sometimes in life, you got to be a hoa. I know that I make fun of her for that shit. But at the same time, I do put her over for destroying Meltzer constantly. She's been doing it forever. Okay. And so Dave Meltzer says the odds are against him even watching this match, but didn't you see it there? And 1:30 a.m. So this is also shows you he just crams all of his work in. It's not like, dude, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it look good and I'm going to make sure it's all good. And if there's any mistakes, I'm going to edit it. It's just cramming it all in quickly. What a shitty journalist. What a shitty hack. What a terrible guy at performing his job, at what he thinks he does the best at. Insane how he stooges himself like this. And I quote tweet this and I go, the only criteria Dave Meltzer has ever given about his star ratings is that it's based on how the crowds moved. Now, I covered this greatly in depth, his interview with Chris Van Vliet, bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week at patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. Sign up today. The only criteria Dave has ever given about his star ratings is that it's based on how the crowds moved. I'm not joking. He was in the fucking crowd for this match. And he's unable to grade it. Okay? So, Popo 2464 for 5 says Wembley main event booked by Meltzer, Ibu, and Ospreay's anime fantasies. MJF will pivot to Hangman. Lowest draw of 3 Wembleys. Good luck, guys. Ali Abdelaziz. Dude, I know it is fucking it's terrible. And even if it's not Hangman, then it's Swerve, or it's like he wrestles Mick Foley in a hardcore bullshit. Like, no matter what it is, they fucked up when MJF is clearly their guy. And you're absolutely right about that. Like, Meltzer books this shit with his fantasies. So thank you so much for the support. We continue. And Dave Meltzer gets called out here. King of the North says, all this time you spend replying to trolls and grifters. And it's so funny because this guy's like, all this time you spend replying to trolls and grifters. Now, he's not actually calling them trolls and grifters, but that's what Dave calls people. And when they agree with him, they're just random fucking accounts. Like, remember Jeff Lane found out that Meltzer, he's like, oh, this mathematician I know. It's just this random psycho on fucking Twitter that he responds to their tweets and shit. And Dave is like, a mathematician I know who studied this said the numbers were blah, blah, blah. And they're a real mathematician. You go to their Twitter, it's like a fucking troll account. It could not even be a real person. Could be someone felting Dave for all we know. And so King of the North goes, all this time you spend replying to trolls and grifters on Twitter could be used watching that Mercedes versus Mayo World match. Everyone is hounding you over. Oh, shit. He destroyed him. Yeah. And so Meltzer goes, I'm on Twitter when I'm on the road. Time here is not time that could be spent watching anything. And I go, so you're on the road 15 hours out of every day? This liar spends all day on this app sweeping for AEW on top of spurging out about Ricky Dozan. And you guys see it. There's no way he's not on X all the time. Nobody, dude, he reads all of his replies. As we pointed out before, he responds to people where it's like this person replying to this person and like 7 other people. And it's like, bro, you can't. If you go through all your replies, like check a couple replies for sure. Me, I try and prioritize my YouTube comments. I'll come say I'll try and leave hearts and be like, hey, I agree, or that's stupid, or fucking what's up, thanks for watching. You know, because I feel that's where it matters more. X is like, bro, you can make an account right now and come call me retarded all day. Like, I don't put much stake into you know what I mean? Personally, I don't know. It's just fun to interact and argue, throw some bait out there, just react to shit, live react to shit, see what's trending, see news and shit. X is the best for that. It's good if you guys are watching this on X, retweet the shit. Spaces are cool. Lives on X is really cool. I think that's the best thing Elon really integrated and made the most out of, right? But Dave is just like sleuthing through his replies like too much. We can all tell. So there's no way you're on the road. And when you're on the road, Dave, are you driving and flying yourself? Because Mone exposes you and the best guy, Tone, for him flying you around, because I don't think she's really joking about this. Okay. And then we're going to end with Jim Cornette going off about his stupid ass star ratings, but this is all because he can't watch this match he was in the crowd for and give a star rating to. Like, what, Dave? It's just a lol cow shit. Like, Dave, you don't have to do this. You could just watch the goddamn match and then, like, I won't make fun of you.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
It's just so funny, you know. And he pretends like I don't care about this stuff, but he does, because when he talks about like, oh, all the stuff I had to go through, all the stuff that I had to go through online over whatever this story broke about the AEW whatever, and all the stuff I went through. Again, we've covered him saying shit like that on DMDMW. So Meltzer's like coping so much more. So this guy goes, Mike Timko Lantern, oh, the horror, says, so let me get this straight. Dave Meltzer has already rated the Dynamite main event that just wrapped 13 hours ago. But gosh golly, he still doesn't have the time to watch one match from Forbidden Door. Rip off the Band-Aid, Dave. Enough. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what's going on, because I know Dave better than anyone. What he's doing is he doesn't like Mone. He reluctantly, and I point this out all the time, he'll rate her high stars, but when she's wrestling like Hazuki or one of these girls that Dave likes, but he doesn't rate Mone ever. He's super critical of her because he doesn't want to put her over, because she's taken shots at him and thinks he's a mark and has buried him in the past multiple times. And so he doesn't like that, but he can't help but admit she's one of the 4 horsewomen and she is goated at the end of the day. And so he tries to shit on her. And in my opinion, because he was at Forbidden Door, yet he also rated the entire Great American Bash card. So he found time to watch the Kendall Gray match on replay. He can't find time to watch Mone Maya World. It's because he doesn't care. Some people say, oh, Dave's racist.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
We covered him on this show talking about the UK crowd. He was literally like, well, they're new and they're stupid and they're minorities, Bryan. That's literally what he said. This is the sort of shit where people's antennas go up and they go like, what's going on now? I'm not going to attribute like he's racist. You know, I'm not going to do that. Alfred Kunawa can do that. I'm not, whatever. I'm going to say this. He doesn't like Mone. She's felt at him a bunch. She destroys him right here. And he just copes over this. He always grades her tough, but he grades her higher than like what WWE's got going on, but like higher when she wrestles, again, like a Hazuki or whatever person he likes better. But he does not like Mone, and he took the time, in my opinion, allegedly. He like went to the bathroom, got some fucking nachos. He fucking was refilling his drink. He fucking went to empty his flute. He was like in the shitter watching the Kendall Gray match on his lap, or he fell asleep. He's old. Take him home. He's geriatric. He needs his rest, okay? He fell asleep. That's the other theory of mine. Let's continue with this here before I get off in the weeds. So rip off the Band-Aid, Dave, enough. And so this is what happens here. Dave goes, I did a 22-page issue in 3 working days and finished at 4 a.m. Okay. So why couldn't you? You're cramming all 22 pages in one night and finishing work at 4 a.m. So why can't you just cram in that match and go to bed at 4:15 a.m.? It makes zero difference. When you woke up and you ate breakfast, why didn't you throw it on your phone? Like it literally makes zero difference because you're putting all this shit ahead of watching it. Well, you know, Commander's back, and even though everyone knows the outcome of that match, and I've seen that same match 50 billion times, I have to watch that live and grade it live, and I can't go back and just like prioritize this and then watch some Dynamite later. He has to defend the 21 minutes. So while Omega's boring ass long segment from Dynamite was going on with Kevin Knight and shit and Ospreay and the Bucks, he couldn't have just thrown it on then. And we already know, like, if he's doing all of this, then he definitely isn't watching WWE. He has it on in the background while he edits, the way most people like throw on a podcast or music or some shows even. You're like, whatever, it's dialogue heavy. I'll glance over, get a look at the, and then I'll fucking listen to what they're saying. Audiobooks, people do that while they're working on other shit. That's how Dave treats WWE. It's unless it's Kendall Gray, obviously. So Big D Monet, Big Dick Monet, she's over in now. Mercedes Monet goes, Tony Khan, can you send the link to Hypocrite Deva? So he can watch the 25-minute match on the plane. So obviously Tone, I believe her. I think Tone sends him a plane and shit. I think Tone accommodates his ride and all this shit, and that's why she's calling it out. And it's so funny that she's tagging Tone and going, can you send the link to Hypocrite Dave so he can watch a 25-minute match on the plane ride next time he comes to fucking meet you?
He had that Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
Fucking based Mercedes Monet. Where's my goddamn based? Based Monet, point blank, and based fucking her dropping all those titles individually and proving a bunch of the haters wrong. Now, is she kind of cringe? Yes. Does she talk like this? And sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
Absolutely. Okay. But do I maintain, and this isn't to take shots, like people often rank the 4 horsewomen. To me, is she 3 or 4 on that list? Yeah, personally, yeah. I feel like when she has a really good dance partner is when she's really, really incredible. But is she like one of the most viable women in AEW? Yes. Is she over? Yes. Is she a big draw? No, AEW is not a big draw. Did she drop those titles one by one? Yes. Did she felt Dave a bunch of times? And this is just the funniest one because she straight up tagged Tone. Yes, it absolutely rules.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
It absolutely rules, Monet. Both things can be fucking true. And I fucking love Monet. Monet, come on PWT. So somebody who's not liking Dave Meltzer's star ratings system, because remember, this all stems from Dave just refusing to give it stars. And this is why. He knows that he would have to give that match like 4 3/4 stars, but he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it because he didn't really like it. But if you go and watch that match, and I said it watching it live, Maya World like lived up to the occasion. It wasn't a breakout performance, but she did all the moves. Like if it was anyone else, if it was some chick from Stardom or Starlight Kid or whatever the fuck from CMLL, or maybe she's from Stardom, actually. She's the masked wrestler, right? Whatever. Dave would like give it 1 billion stars. But because it's Monet, because it's Maya World, and Maya World is green, but she's like living up to it, even on Dynamite. Like she's proving that she's running with the ball. Did she have a breakout Mustafa Ali, Kofi Kingston level? Holy shit, this guy can really fucking go and hang with the big dogs. Nah, she didn't have like that moment. You know, Monet kind of brought her through the match, but like if that was anyone else, Dave would have rated it 100 fucking stars, but he doesn't want to do that. So he's just not going to do that. And he's going to keep, and this is the thing too, Dave's like defiant and he has to just resist. So if you criticize Dave and go, you're old and out of touch, buddy, he starts showing up in like an Adidas tracksuit and going, these old fraudcast grifters, Bryan. He just copes and seethes about everything. And he starts saying, like I say, yo, Dave is the greatest projector who's ever lived. So then he starts going, I'm the great reflector because I hold the mirror up to what people are they. You know, he just copes and seethes about this shit. And he just has to reject. Even when you prove him completely wrong with facts and statistics and math and numbers, he just instantly rejects you. And he just instantly fucking blocks you or whatever. Even if it's not personal, you know, and or he just refuses to engage with you, or he goes to his message board and tells everybody, do not talk about this person, whatever. We've seen it time and time again. And that's how Dave like handles that, which whatever. I mean, that's his prerogative. But he just copes and resists and gets defensive instead of go, oh, yeah, I was wrong, or maybe I fucked this up, or here's a correction, whatever. And we're going to show physical proof of that in tweets that they've made for the Wrestling Observer recently when it comes to AEW. And so the point I'm making here is that Dave is going to just continue to refuse to watch the match because everybody's calling him out for watching the match. And he's going to refuse to lower the star ratings. He's even going to bolster them and make them higher than you realistically should, even for WWE. With WWE, he rates everything unrealistically high, but doesn't go 5, 5.5, 5.25. Do you guys notice that? Rarely he'll hand out a 5, but he doesn't go 5.5. And he only does it when like everyone, even sickos, are like, yeah, that was banging. That's the only time he'll do it, because he'll only do it when he's ahead of it. So like he'll rate this WWE match a 5, even though he would have just given it a 4 if he knows the sickos will call him out for the shit, but because he can get ahead of it that way. Otherwise he resists. And so he will refuse to rate this fucking match. Maybe it'll come next week, but he's just refusing to right now because he just won't fucking accept what people like. Now that Monet said that just bought until next week before he actually reviews the match. And then he's going to say, well, I didn't find time. And Bryan's going to be like, okay, Dave. But speaking of people who look at Dave like he has steaming turds hanging out of his fucking nose, as Jim Cornette would say, Jim Cornette, he's livid over Dave Meltzer awarding 5.5 stars to the Ospreay Strickland match. And I am too. I mean, it's the same fucking match we've seen 100 times. Zero heat behind it. And Dave calls everyone else low IQ, yet his own employees talk about how Dave Meltzer has sat there, watched AEW with them, and clapped like a seal, like a baby with keys being jingled in front of them, for the same spots he's seen 1,000 times. Dave's own employees have talked about this on their own shows.
Jim, I didn't even realize this until just seeing the times. In a match that was twice as
Shout out the Experience, Brian Last and James E. Cornette.
long as the three-way main event to the WWE show. Will Ospreay defeated Swerve Strickland to win the Owen Hart Cup. 35 minutes.
Jesus.
8 seconds. 5.5 star match.
Oh, good Lord. that again, every finish, every fucking piece of excess that they bury the referee, ignore the rules, act like video game characters, and kick out of everything to the point where it's not only just unbelievable, but it's ridiculous to fill their own, again, self-aggrandizing masturbatory fantasies, because they just think, well, nobody deserves to get out of here before 12:30 in the morning. We're going to do what we want.
I couldn't wait.
Like, that's not fan service. I don't care. And the fans who were like, no, I wanted it. It was so great. Maybe, but you guys aren't going to every show, you know, like you guys aren't showing up. So I really don't, if you looked at the live attendance, I don't know if I believe that.
I couldn't wait to go to sleep. I was getting mad at the match. Here's what Dave wrote. Will Ospreay beating Swerve Strickland in a match of the year contender and the best match I've ever seen in San Jose after 55 years of attending matches here. The best match I'd seen of my childhood in San Jose.
Jim, just, I feel you, Jim.
Was a 6-man tag with Pat Patterson, Billy Graham, and Paul DeMarco versus Ray Stevens, Peter Maivia, and Rocky Johnson. I can't remember a better match until Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho versus Triple H and Steve Austin in the match where Triple H tore his quad, which many considered at the time the best match ever on Raw. So he thinks this is the best match ever in San Jose. I thought it was a slog.
It was a slog. It drug on and on. They kicked out of every single thing. Neither of them sold anything. They rested on their laurels. It's the same as every Ospreay match and big Ospreay match. He just fucking kick out, finish, reverse finish, into finish, kick out, finish, kick out, power up, finish, power up, kick out. It's the same thing, man. It's boring. It's just repetitive. And it's just like TikTok slop. What that is, people are like, oh, man, people want the slop of WWE. It's a paced out show where they try and build anticipation and drama. You talking about that? Or are you talking about the show that you literally, it's move, the same way you flip through TikTok. You're on YouTube Shorts, right? And fucking before you know it, you lost half an hour. You flip through 100 shorts. That's what that is. It's the equivalent of that. It's just like quick little dopamine hits. And it's unsatisfying. It's unrewarding. And also, like, Dave thinks that when people like myself or Jim goes like, yo, Ospreay doesn't sell. They think that when you put them in there with the workhorsemen and Ospreay selling for 4 minutes to JD Drake or whatever, that means he's selling. No. Like, selling, like what he's conveying. The realism, his selling on offense, his selling, his facials, how he sells a move and then gets in a position for the spot that's coming next or whatever. It's all of those things, man. Ospreay just walks around. He's athletic, amazing, right? So's Nick Jackson. So's Orange Cassidy. What are we talking about here, you know? It's just like a lack of comprehension of just the basics, right? Dave thinks that people who can do these quote-unquote advanced moves, that's going to be the future, and Dave's been holding on to that's the future, and they said Flair was too fast, and they said there is a such thing as too fast, though, Dave, right? Like, there is a such thing as, there's a thing like, okay, you can break the world record for speed, and you can break it, and then the engine fucking explodes and the driver dies because it went too fast, and people aren't accustomed or ready to that, or we're going back to slower vehicle. Like, wrestling seems to be what's old is new. And Dave says what's old is new, but he's talking about old 2010s New Japan, which isn't what we're talking about. You know what I mean? That's not what motherfuckers like myself are talking about when we say what's old is new.
A predictable slog. You could have predicted almost everything they were going to do and how it was going to play out and who was going to win.
Well, besides that, it's a whole different scale, because when you're looking at, and this is what Dave just forgets and just forgives or whatever, when you look at the overall level of the rottenness of the basics of guys.
That's what thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. And let Jim tell you, because he taught people already the basics. Well, the basics don't matter. Look at the backflip they did. This is what people mean, sickos, when we go, you guys just care about like flips and video game shit. I love video games and I love flips, but like you can do that and I love seeing people do flips, you know, I don't know, fucking Nitro Circus or whatever. I love it too. But like in pro wrestling, man, you have to have the basics down. Because the finer things matter, the details matter, the little things add up and they become greater things. And that's how you get people to pop. It's a Hell in a Cell match and it's Drew and Punk at the top of their game and they're going crazy. And he pours out a bag of beads and everyone pops. And people who are too fucking dumb to pick up nuance, who are just like, feed me more right now, flip, 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 move, kick out, come in my pants, go to bed, wake up, do it again, TikTok brain. Yes, I know you guys don't get that, but it's the details that matter. It's the little things that matter. They add up, and it can make something great.
The overall level of the rottenness of the basics of guys' work today, because they're all concentrating on trying to do these convoluted spots and set this cool shit up and work with the furniture, that just everybody's punches and arm whips and shoot offs and fucking basic holds and basic
they look
positioning.
Like shit. Jim's cooking.
Has
Let him
fallen
cook.
To shit.
Let him
so
cook.
To me, I'm sorry, but I think that if you got a movie with a really good story, but you hire a guy from the front of Home Depot to be the cinematographer, and it looks like
boom, that's exactly it. So Taylor Swift is the best singer who ever sang. No, but she sings good and the production's through the roof and she writes good songs and she can play the guitar and she puts on a good show and people love her. So they're going to go to her shit. She is appealing. It's what more people want to see. And she could just go into business for herself and go, I'm just going to play guitar and play bars for the rest of my life. But she goes, no, I'm going to go on a floating stage and take it to the next level because we're trying to put this. What am I doing here? Do I want my art to be heard and seen? If you want to do drawings in your fucking kitchen and just put them up on your fridge or your bed, do that. But the Mona Lisa is the Mona fucking Lisa and everybody knows what it is. And yes, you have to do art for yourself, but art is also meant to be shared with other people and criticized. It is. It is in the womb of criticism that great art is born or some such bullshit. There's a quote like that out there. I'm sure I just said it wrong kind of, but you guys know what I'm saying, right? So these things matter.
Like a home movie, that takes away. And it's the same. Yeah, you do all your spots and all your fucking furniture.
There's lots of movies with like great scripts, shitty acting. Or like flavor of the month actor, and you go, if that guy wasn't in it, I maintain this. If Pedro Pascal wasn't in this last Fantastic Four movie, people would be like, based, MCU's based again and shit. I guarantee it. But people just don't like that guy, and it's not even that he's a bad actor. I actually enjoyed him in that, and I'm not a big fan of Pedro Pascal. I actually enjoyed him in that film personally, but like you understand why other people don't like this shit, right? And like why people might be fatigued, quote unquote, and he will lose mass appeal. There's something called mass appeal, Dave. And in AEW, they're just appealing to themselves, to Twitter, and to you, and to Drainmaker on Twitter and shit. And to Elbu from Self-Made and these putzes.
But if you can't actually make the shit in the middle look right, I'm deducting. Fuck you.
Well, those are the star ratings for AEW Forbidden Door.
Jim Cornette.
Mercedes Moné's match, which
yeah, because it's so important to get these things right. People's lives and careers depend on it, Brian. So we'll have to update the people on that once that the news comes out. It's like a recount in an election.
Jim, good.
You know, Dave listens to himself a lot.
I bet that's like a Raycon earbud. Raycon sponsor PWT and DMDMW. What the fuck are we doing? Shout out Jim Cornette.
Jim, I didn't even realize this.
That's hilarious. So now we must get ready and embrace ourselves for some unbridled, unhinged AEW sweeping, shilling, defending. I don't even know where to start with this. So we're just going to go, we're going to hit the drop and we're just going to go in order of how I have it laid out here.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
So AEW, of course, is Dave Meltzer's favorite promotion. Some people say he's invested in it. Some people think, and I did a lot to spread that rumor too of like 3% and shit. I don't think he owns any of it, but like maybe Tone like buys a bunch, 1,500 copies of the Observer every month, and I'll hand them out to people or something. Like maybe. I just think it's Tone is a billionaire who pats him on his head. I think Tone plays Dave more than Dave knows. Tone is of that ilk and of that mindset of the Observer message boards and shit. And I just think he's booking for Dave. And so Dave likes that. And Dave likes and praises Tone even more when Dave praises the shit he does and Tone listens to Dave, right? Like Dave's saying, no, don't sign Sheamus. You know, but then Dave gets upset, and when like Tone signs the Hurt Business, Dave gets upset about that, and he's like, "Oh, they're older, and he shouldn't sign these guys." And then he does, and then do you hear Dave glazing the Hurt Business ever? Nope, never. But all of a sudden, like Mark Davis is one of the best wrestlers on planet Earth right now. I'm supposed to believe that, and nothing even against him, right? But it's just a fact that like Dave has gotten phone calls from Tone going, I promise I'll never book a bad, whatever. Like Tone values what Dave has to say, and Dave likes the pat on the heads and the private plane rides and all of this stuff, right? And so instead of the Wrestling Observer douchebags, which we're going to point out how their social media, whoever runs it, is a shill as well, obviously, and an extension of Dave. And Dave tries to cop out and go, oh, well, I don't even operate some of these things. It's not me. Yeah, but they're extensions of you, Dave. You motherfuckers aren't hiring me to run your Twitter. So obviously, you guys are hiring people who think like you do, Dave, or they wouldn't work for the Observer. So don't try and lie. Don't try and bullshit people. So they go, should some weapons be left out of pro wrestling? No, bitch. They should be left out of fucking AEW, some of these weapons. And I quote tweeted and said this, exploding super shoes. Now, my preamble, I wanted to say, Dave does criticize AEW sometimes. It's not like he doesn't ever criticize them and say things like this, but it's always like he's depressed and sad that they did something, and then he just quickly moves on. He doesn't spurg out and go, oh, well, they're dying and they're past their peak and this is bullshit and they fear the audience and they're scared of fucking, you know, he just always goes, it was what it was. They shouldn't do that, but this was a tremendous Dynamite, still a 5-star match. Like this shit doesn't lower the star rating. Tony Khan. And then Dave will omit this in the newsletter, and he only talks about it when Bry confronts him. So in the newsletter, we've covered this here. He will write shit like Okada versus Takeshita, 5 stars or like 4.5 stars, whatever you rated it, even though you watch the match back and Takeshita did a screwdriver head stabbing to Okada and it was right in front of the ref. And that doesn't dock stars or vice versa, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. That doesn't dock stars when Okada stabs Takeshita in the head with a fucking screwdriver right in front of the ref. That doesn't make you go, fuck. They fucked that up. They didn't even follow the rules and shit. No, for Dave, and then he doesn't even talk about it. And we covered it in the Observer. He just goes, oh, besides the finish, it was a stellar match, 4.75 stars. It's like, dude, do you know how many movies like are great, but then they don't stick the landing and people go 3 stars? It can't possibly be a 5. 2 stars because that ending. And it fucks up everything. Like, Dave is the worst critic, the worst critique, the worst fucking every analyst, everything ever, and he's a liar. And I wrote this: exploding super shoes, fish bowls, medieval weapons, hypodermic needles, forehead skewers, and screwdrivers to the head have all passed the test. The drill is where Wavy Davy draws the line. So Tommaso Ciampa, again, everyone loves Ciampa. He's a great wrestler. What does he do? There's something in the water in AEW. Oh, I know. I'm gonna go and get a screwdriver and pretend that I'm gonna screwdriver him in the temple like No Country for Old Men or whatever the fuck. I'm gonna be the Terrifier clown and screwdriver him in the brain and kill him. Wrestling cool. Ciampa, what are you doing? You old fuck. Quit trying to be cool. This isn't cool. No one thinks it's cool. Just wrestle good. That's what you do good. You cut good promos and you wrestle good and you tell stories. Oh, I'm gonna drill him in the brains, and then he'll be the pain maker and dress up and put the eye paint on like it makes a fucking difference. Jericho now has resorted to going through the hits now. Jericho's like, I know. I'm gonna go through all my old gimmicks again. You already did that in AEW. You already did that. What's next? You're going to be Lionheart and wear yellow tights? Like, that makes a fucking difference. This shit is like middle schooler video game shit. That's what it is. This is what it is, right? You play WWE 2K My Rise, and then all of a sudden R-Truth shows up, and he's dressed like Jey Uso, and he's like, yeah, dog, in an alternate timeline, I invented Yeet. Right? And then you go off on a mission that's like an imaginary dreamland wrestling world where you team up with main event R-Truth to fight the Mega Powers or some shit. That's what AEW is. It's just like video game middle schooler shit. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. Here's where Dave draws the line. Power tools.
Ciampa hit him with a chair afterwards and then got a power drill, and security came down and did not allow this lobotomy. And very, very good opener.
I wasn't a fan of the drill, by the way. Not at all. You know, I just think that, like, that's...
And it's just the safest criticism. Like, anybody could say, like, you know, Dave will give the Ospreay Swerve match 1 billion stars, but I draw the line here. And it's like, bro, you need to draw the line before they get here. They're only here because people are breaking their necks and pinching their neck nerves to get 5 stars from you and drowning people in fish bowls, and you keep giving it 4 and 5 stars, Dave.
You know, it's like one of those things where what's the positive of that? Like, you can't use it. Right?
The drill, I have no idea.
I mean, you can't.
Well, we've seen a lot of weapons like this.
Yeah, I always think it's bullshit. Chainsaws. You know, it's like you can't
chainsaws.
Use it. And
what is that? What they're doing at Redemption, like, Dave? Did you just stooge what they're doing at Redemption?
Everything looks so
chainsaws. Who's ever brought a fucking chainsaw? Or is he criticizing AEW for doing the Halloween match with the Texas Chainsaw thing? Is he criticizing that? Hopefully that's what he meant. But he goes, chainsaws? Well, it's a drill, but okay. Go on, Unk. Go ahead.
So bad, you know? It's like if you're watching with somebody and they see that, they're going to go like, I just don't think that like wrestling should be like, you know, like a normal person is watching.
Dave, guess what? A normal person watches Orange Cassidy and thinks the same thing. A normal person watches Commander versus Fletcher and thinks the same thing. A normal person watches, let me get my list, exploding super shoes, fish bowls, medieval weapons, hypodermic needles, forehead skewers, and screwdrivers to the head, and they think the same thing. Scissor stabbings to the head, they think the same thing. When Marina Shafir is fucking dipping her feet in glass like it's the fucking Kumite and dipping her fists, and they think the same thing. Dave, way to catch up, way to wake up from your nap there, Unk.
Yeah, I just don't think that like wrestling should be like, you know, like a normal person is watching, and if they're watching and if a normal person walks in the door and says, this is so freaking stupid, you know, it's like
they do that when Mox is trying to act tough, throwing shitty, sloppy fucking forearm exchanges with people, just so you know.
That's the, you know
how I know? Because I know people who like MMA and that I show wrestling to, and they'll watch it because they kind of meme on it, and they just, that's what they think of AEW.
I just remember like that's one of the things where I think like there should be a line that you do not want to make somebody look stupid for being a fan. And it's like the drill thing. As soon as he pulls that out, it's like, look, he ain't going to use it, because if he did use
The 9 finishers, Dave, do that, and you give that 5.5 stars.
it, he's going to like kill the guy. And it's like, we're really not, we should, we can have violence, but it should be tempered to, non-killing violence.
It should be tempered to drowning someone in a fishbowl or putting a needle through their cheek and then squirting the juice out, Bryan, because that definitely makes sense. Dave is cheese graters are fine, Bryan, and pizza cutters during Domino's commercials, but power tools, nay, nay. I say nay, nay, Bryan. What a fucking clown. And I'm not defending the power tools, but Dave, he's just all over the place, right? And so they announced before that Hangman was going to be on Collision, and they popped a bit of a rating. Bryan's wrong about his assessment here. We're not even going to watch this clip. He just was like, Hangman came back, and they went head-to-head with AAA New Japan, the World Cup, at a UFC headlined by Conor McGregor. So they announced Hangman, and then he showed up, and it's like, yeah, they should have announced him. Bryan, you're a dumb fuck, too. I don't care what anybody says. You're short-witted. And they should have announced it, because that's will make sickos tune in, and they did tune into Collision. Collision didn't do gangbusters, but they had an increase in fucking ratings, and they announced Hangman had a vasectomy. So Dave's talking about stuff. Imagine someone walks in and it says recently had a vasectomy. People go, this is dumb. Turn this childish bullshit off. When they hear Will Ospreay going, it's the real life Goku and Vegeta, bruv. Now, let me tell you something about Phil S. Marks. Let me pull the curtain back a little bit. I am the biggest fucking Dragon Ball fan there is. I haven't seen Daima. That's the only thing. I'm talking from the video games to the manga to the shows itself. Not only that, I've done some work with their website, the Dragon Ball official fucking website. Also for I did some promo Daima stuff before that came out. I still need to watch Daima, right? I know people who do the voiceover on in the American version of the shows, from Dragon Ball all the way to fucking Super. You know what I mean? In the movies and everything. I know people who've done that. Listen, when you say shit like that, in pro wrestling, it makes people feel like it's middle school cringe. I don't know what to fucking tell you guys. Okay? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Even me, I'm like, oh, that's cringe because of what Dave's saying. If someone walks in and sees you, hears you saying shit like that, they go, this is cringy. Same thing with the hypodermic needle. Same thing with all of these fucking things. Okay? God damn it. Dave will he'll overlook that stuff, though, and go, well, a power drill because it implies death. Well, so does a screwdriver to the head, bud. So I don't know how I went off on that tangent again. Oh, yeah, the vasectomy thing. So that's stupid, but it was smart for them to announce Hangman will be there, and they popped a bit of a rating. So Bryan Alvarez is a dumbass and got felted by Tony Khan right there. We're just going to skip that clip. I don't need to hear Bry fucking talking about it. So Dave is becoming more and more unhinged with his coverage of, the whole WBD Paramount stuff and the TV ratings and all of this. So this guy, Jared Searcy, had this to say after Dynamite Dave posted this. AEW Dynamite did 773K, best since 24 in point, 1-2 and 2-0. No World Cup, so far less competition, and obviously strongest main event. And obviously strongest main event. Like, what does that even mean? What the fuck does that even mean? Strictly panel would likely be low to mid 900s for a fair comparison to a year ago numbers, not including Max. If HBO Max did 300K, Well, if I had $1 billion, I wouldn't be doing this show, Dave. What the fuck does that mean? If HBO Max did 300K, would have made it the most watched first day watch show in the last week. Dave believes that 300K, it's utterly unhinged to think for 1 second that there would even be 300K watching this over the week, let alone the day of.
You know, poor people don't like AEW.
So Jared Searcy goes, just a quick question, Dave. Previously, and maybe still now, the demo of 18 to 49 was the big number, and TV shows were ranked based off that. Is 25 to 54 now an important demo as well? Are advertisers looking at that number too? And then these people jump in, no and no. I saved you some time. 18 to 49 is the demo. I'm telling you guys right now, Netflix, when they're talking demos and the streamers and the shit that matters and Paramount and shit, they're looking at 10 different demos. And the advertisers on TV for live shit look at 18 to 49. How much of that has changed? I don't know. That's what they pay the big bucks for. Cool. But I thought cord cutting, and it doesn't matter because everyone's cutting the fucking cord. So which is it? Does it even matter? And Dave has flip-flopped on this. Overall viewership, key demo viewership. He's flip-flopped on this to fit his agenda whenever he has an agenda to push. So this guy goes, depends. WBD favors 25 to 54. Advertisers still favor 18 to 49. So Nicolo Piccolo goes, that may be among the dumbest ratings explanation you've ever published. WBD doesn't favor an age bracket like it's picking a horse. Okay? So when Netflix drops overall numbers, they don't give a fuck about if you're 70 or you're 17. They're just telling you the overall numbers, right? And there's no multiplier like Nielsen. But also Netflix is trying to push shit to like 3 to 10 years old and shit like that. That's a metric they look at. Who's watching Booba or whatever, right? I don't know what's on there. Who's watching SpongeBob? Okay? They're looking at shit like that. So Nicolo Piccolo says the target changes by buyer, campaign, property, inventory, and objectives. So for instance, like K-pop Demon Hunters isn't trying to get the same, like obviously if 1 billion people watch it, great, that's amazing. But they're not, when they made that movie, they weren't like, I know all the fucking Politabros and MMA fans are going to love this show. You know what I mean? They're making it for little girls and it fucking blows up into this big thing. WBD's own corporate releases destroy this argument. WBD has promoted TBS as the top cable entertainment network among adults 25 to 54 while promoting TNT as the top cable entertainment network among adults 18 to 49 in the same release. WBD is also ranked TNT. So when Dave goes, WBD prefers this, no, they prefer that when it comes to TNT. Or no, sorry, when it comes to TBS, when it comes to TNT, they brag about the 18 to 49. Now, if both of these blow up in the 18 to 49 and 25 to 54, they're going to tout them both, obviously. But it seems as though when they go, damn, we're one of the top cable things for 18 to 49. So how do we really expand that and hone in on that, maximize that, expand, maybe get some more 25 to 54 for sure. But people watching TBS, we can hone in and zero in on that. Dave Meltzer, you cooked. You cookie monster. Fuck, man. So Nick continues and said, there's no company-wide favorite. There are different audiences being sold. And again, now back in the day, Dave would be more right. That's the key demo that we're looking to because everyone watches TV. But there's cord cutting and there's streaming and there's YouTube and there's social media and there's illegal streaming, nordvpn.com/pro wrestle times. There's fucking, not that there's anything illegal with VPNs. I'm just promoting a VPN, right? And, you know, you go watch whatever you want to watch. Protect yourself online. That's nordvpn.com/pro wrestle time. Support your boy, Phil S. Marks. But, you know, you go watch whatever you want to watch. Protect yourself online. That's nordvpn.com/pro wrestle time. Support your boy, Phil S. Marks. But, you know, you go watch whatever you want to watch. Protect yourself online. That's nordvpn.com/pro wrestle time. Support your boy, Phil S. Marks. But It's just the way of the future, dude. Time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future, Bryan. So WBD didn't suddenly discover some deep institutional preference for 25 to 54. AEW's 18 to 49 performance deteriorated, so your explanation changed. If 18 to 49 looked good, you'd call it the scoreboard. AEW's 18 to 49 number got ugly. You moved the goalposts, invented a corporate preference, and called it network strategy. This isn't ratings analysis. It's drawing a new bullseye around the arrow after it missed. Don't worry, son. I'm just getting warmed up tonight. Let me get my belt ready. And then Disco goes, Dave doesn't... I don't have a good Disco. You think I'd have figured it out by now. Kermit the Frog here. Dave doesn't really know much about anything. Just a terrible fucking Disco, okay? It is what it is. I'm trying to play my Meltzer Inferno here.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Okay. Here it is, Meltzer
baby,
Inferno.
learn Meltzer Inferno.
And Disco's always bringing up, he's like, social media impressions is what matters the most and shit. And it's like, true. No, not impressions. He doesn't say impressions. He's like, nobody ever talks about YouTube and stuff like that, which is absolutely true. You need to talk about YouTube and social media and palatable metrics. So I just screen capped it and went, Dave is becoming more unhinged. Like if HBO Max did 300K, like, come on, man. It's just absolutely nutty, buddy. And so somebody goes, source? Question mark. And then Dave goes, his source is crying over reality. Meanwhile, Dave doesn't understand reality. He doesn't exist in reality. And I just followed up and said, insinuating 300K on Max is somehow based in reality is legitimately psychotic. Right? And so we move along here. And this is the type of work that AEW does. Here's their coverage of the Queen of the Ring. And they never corrected this. Okay? And this guy goes, let's fuck up some commas. Commas matter. Comma lives matter, dude. And we've covered here. Last show, I went psychotic. Your boy Phil went psychotic, pointing out how poorly Dave does commas and punctuation and all of these things. And look at this shit. They post this. Now, Dave didn't write this, and Dave doesn't operate the Twitter. However, we take a look here, and they go, AEW files lawsuit against Queen of the Ring producers over $1.5 million, which is not, it's 105,000. And this doesn't even mean 0.5 because they're missing a zero. They're missing a fucking... I'm surprised this doesn't have like 80 billion retweets and fucking likes and responses under going, dude, you fucking stink. But like nobody knows how to use commas there. It's just copy and paste slop, zero editing, zero filter. The buck stops with nobody. It should stop with Dave, or somebody should just take the time to make sure they're doing good work. But again, they botch. So 1.5 million, 1 point, not even a real number, 100,000 million in alleged unpaid fees. And they didn't correct it. You'd think somebody would see this and go, oh, we should move the comma. But what Dave's doing is he's dog whistling and signal boosting. Stupid idiot. Signal boosting's not the right idea. He's dog whistling. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe that's not the right idea, but he knows that people will read this and then go 1.5 million. Because they're dyslexic like me and don't, you know what I'm saying? And he knows what, or whoever's running this, the Observer in general. And we pointed out before, they go, should pro wrestling stop using stupid weapons? No, bro, AEW should. There's no fishbowl drownings and drills to the head in WWE shows. That's an AEW thing. So the headline should read, should AEW stop using dumbass fucking weapons? Right? And so they fuck up here. Now we go and we look at the Observer site, and it is the glitchiest site. Now, the lady who wrote this, I'm not sure if you guys can see it. We'll go to the Observer website, which is so glitchy. All the pop-ups, sign up, pay for this, disable your ad blocker. Fuck you. But it was written by Roseanne Raphael, who's a pink-haired woke feminist. No, I'm
Dave
joking.
is so
I don't
bad.
ever do.
Dave is the devil.
I don't ever go that road, but she is a pink hair. If there's people online who would see her and go, that's a woke feminist, delete her, cancel her, you know what I'm saying? But they get it right in the actual 105,000. But at what point do comma lives start mattering? You know what I'm saying? At what point do we start taking our commas and our periods and shit serious? And so I wrote, holy fuck, the Observer botched again. There's zero editing over there. Nobody knows how to use commas and periods and colons. Dave knows how to use his colon, not the semicolon, but his brown eye colon when it comes to flutes and Tony Khan. Allegedly.
The best guy is
This
Tony
is all-
Khan.
I'm just making this all up, right? I know. But yeah, they just don't give a fuck. Like, there's just zero editing, and it's just unfiltered, unbridled cope. And so here Dave and Bry, I think Dave is in. Yes, Dave is with Bry, and his hair's just giving up. Whoa, dude, his hair's giving up.
Emotional damage.
That shit is like his brain cells. They're just, it's a sinking ship. Overboard, mateys. They're just jumping off the Titanic, dude, barely holding on. Hold on when you feel like letting go. Dave Meltzer's hair. Holy shit, man. This stress of like this constant shilling is just aging him rapidly, bro. He's deteriorating, right? He looks like Tales of the Crypt Keeper, buddy. So they're talking about what to do with Hangman going forward. Obviously, he's just going to be like quickly put into a match with MJF quickly with zero thought behind it.
Hangman returned with less than 24 hours notice.
Unbelievable.
Head-to-head with Conor McGregor, the World Cup, AAA.
I was shocked when I saw that he was coming back. I mean,
oh man, his hair's gone, dude. Oh my god. Oh shit, man. It's just, they're just jumping off the hair follicles. They're going because of the stress of having to shill this bullshit, dude. Constantly and just lie to everybody. It's just not good for your soul to like be shitty to people and just fucking lie like this through your teeth constantly, man. Right? Let's continue.
And I'm not even sure. It was like, I think he did a nice promo in a sense of, I guess, he's got a pinched nerve in his neck. I mean,
he did a nice promo in the sense of he's got a pinched nerve in his neck. And again, just another example of someone in AEW over the last 7 years, their neck's fucked. They're a glorified part-timer. They are forced to retire, whatever. Everybody in 7 short years, AEW's accomplished a lot. They've also retired multiple wrestlers, Keith Lee, Adam Cole, Adam Page is a part-timer. Omega's cooked and is a part-timer. Osprey, it's only a matter of time. I'm sorry. Because like when you crush your neck and get neck fusion, okay, eventually his like arm's going to start tweaking out and shit. And he's just like young and dumb right now. Hangman's got a pinched nerve in his neck. He can only go once in a while. Osprey was, MJF was clearly banged up in that match with Omega. Clearly needs some time off from going hard in the paint because you just can't do matches like that. And it's not worth it when you're hunched over like John Cena. John Cena at least got like 20 years of being on top, right? Like Cena, and he didn't even do nothing that crazy. The craziest shit he did was let Sabu leg drop him through the fucking table. Cena didn't even go off like that. He just did like power moves and shit. And look at how he's hunched over. waddling around even in these movies he's in and shit. You can just tell it's him by his walk. Well, you can't tell by the way I use my walk.
So that's fairly serious stuff. And he's talked about that and talked about rehab and everything like that. Really pushed that he's living up to the stip, which people booed. And but yeah, like
you really pushed that he's living up to the stip, Bryan. Then people booed it. Yeah, because it's a dumb stip. They shouldn't have done it.
They're in Virginia.
And we have people like Omega, 7 years deep, and Omega's got his last title run ever. Hangman can never challenge again. All these people are getting ready to call it quits.
Not far from where, he said he lives in Greensboro now. They were in Roanoke. So in that sense, it made sense, but, shouldn't have been billed for a week. If you know what I mean? And
yeah,
probably not that.
Tone's a shitty promoter. He's a bad booker. So you're criticizing the booking and the promoting, but you'll call it booking of the year because, it's like Triple H did a kayfabe injury angle, so that cannot be booker of the year
at night either.
The only thing that makes sense is because the MGF match was moved up. I presume they must want him to do something on the pay-per-view, and mathematically they just figured he had to come back on Collision.
And why is shit being moved up? Because people are hurt and shit, man. So Phil Marks, Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, everybody's right. We've all been right. Like this isn't the way to do things. And people go, oh, come on now, Phil, that's not very fair. Fucking Kenny Omega fell apart because of Japan. Okay, well, they just do Japan shit in AEW. I'm the GOAT.
Why? I don't know why they couldn't have announced it on Wednesday, because nothing changed between Wednesday and Saturday. As far as they knew on Wednesday the match was taking place.
Just Tone's a shit booker. Just say he's the shits, and he just books who's around. So Dave just said it. Guevara just said it too. The last time I was used, I was in town, and I don't know when I'm going to be used again. But the last time it's because I was in town and they needed people. That's how Tone books, assholes. There's no long-term plans. There's no fucking long-term booking. There's no fucking thought behind anything. It's just who's there, who shows up to all these fucking shows. So he tells everybody, hey, you're going to be needed backstage. There's 100 people running around. And then he just stuffs a bunch of matches on the card because he's like, I told 100 people to be here. And yes, it's 100 people. You don't believe me, bitch. Watch my video called 10 Minutes of Tony Khan on my YouTube channel. And Britt Baker goes, yeah, we come to TV and sometimes there's 100, 200 people running around and we don't even know what we're doing. And she's saying that as if it's like a fucking positive. Do you think it's any different? So it's just who's around town can show up, and then he books and figures it out from there. He doesn't fucking know. So Dave just explained it. They booked this because Hangman was there, and it's good they did, and it's good they announced it in advance. Why didn't they talk about it Wednesday? Because Tone didn't know Wednesday, and he's a shit booker, and you guys need to fucking say that. And the sickos need to admit the shit. Now, it did pop a rating for them, but then they go recently had a vasectomy on screen. Immature bullshit. It's not immature and bullshit to get a vasectomy. It's not even immature bullshit to like Dragon Ball Z. And some people may be like, oh, come on now, Phil. That's not very fair. It's childish bullshit. Animes for queers and women and kids. No, I'm joking. There's some people who think that shit is cringe. Anime and shit's cringe. I enjoy it. I like it. I like Dragon Ball Z. But I douche chilled when Bruv said that. It's like real life Goku Vegeta. Oh. Holy fuck, buddy. Dress up and go to Comic-Con and go do cartwheels in the parking lot for change. And people will tip you. You and your buddy go dress up like Goku and Vegeta and do flips in front of a Comic-Con and have a fake fight in front of Comic-Con, and people will fucking tip you. And that will get over more there. You'll be more popular there. It'll get over more there. But instead, Tone pays these guys millions of dollars. But that's what they want to do. That's what Ospreay thinks he's doing. Well, me and Swerve, it's Majin Buu versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Bruv. No, it's not. No, it isn't. This is pro wrestling.
Is that night? I cannot explain it.
And then you see people like Ricochet go, man, pro wrestling's just like anime. Yeah, do you know what anime is known for? Like all the best anime, having like 100 filler episodes where they just really develop and flesh out some of the best episodes. For instance, you want to take Dragon Ball Z. So like when Goku goes and gets his driver's license, that's a fucking awesome, iconic episode. And it's a filler episode. They would cut that out of like the recut Dragon Ball Kai or whatever. They'll cut that shit out because it really doesn't add anything, but it does. It shows you the dynamic between Piccolo and Goku, and it fleshes out their character more, and it just shows people the way you flesh out a character isn't by introducing new tidbits, it's by being like, okay, this person's like petty, so then you see their pettiness on display throughout the season of the show. There's 22 episodes in a show, in a season, or whatever the fuck, 56 of a season, so you're gonna see pettiness on display that doesn't have any greater effect, but it still shows you this character type, motherfuckers. And so when guys like Ricochet are like, yeah, it's just like anime, yeah, bitch, the story is when Goku's charging up a spirit bomb for 12 episodes. That's the drama, bro. It's not spirit bomb, Gallic gun, spirit. Now there's some fights like that for sure. But that's because animes book themselves in a corner where you got to be like, okay, he can just jump to Super Saiyan 3 or whatever the fuck. He just jumps to Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan Instinct or whatever the fuck because like we've established, you've already seen like this guy's fighting so powerful that a Super Saiyan 1 just doesn't do anything against this guy. Like, yes, they'll jump through that. That's an anime problem. Again, just like pro wrestling has pro wrestling problems. But ultimately, it's like, I need to recharge my energy. Goku, if you can hold him off for the next 3 episodes, I can regenerate my arm and hit him with a special beam cannon. You know, that's the fucking drama of the battle with Raditz or whatever. It has nothing to fucking do with like just move. Okay? So even these AEW guys going Dragon Ball in anime is like, ugh. Bitch, there is 3,000 episodes of Naruto or whatever the fuck, you know, like it's just completely, you're not even right on your analogy. It's just about the moves. That's what Ospreay thinks, and it's cringe, bro. It's middle schooler shit.
It happened.
Yeah, I can't either. You know, I thought that his return was going to be costing MJF the championship.
God damn it. You got me going off about anime and Dragon Ball lore now and shit like this. So Dave Meltzer now, he starts defending Shad Khan with the fucking Trump stuff, I believe. So, or no, this isn't, this has more to do with the Impact stuff, which we'll circle back to that. And I forgot, I knew that there was more, but I accidentally skipped over it. We'll just come back to it after. So Dave Meltzer, in his unbridled fucking glaze of AEW, gets into another fight with Bryan Alvarez about this last Dynamite. Now, I have multiple clips taken from this, so some of them expand a little more than others. If anything gets rehashed, I'll skim through it. Otherwise, I need to go through all of this. We're going to start with this flat out 6-minute long video. Shout out at lifer_oner, Jason G from the SAT. Shout him out. And he just posted this 6-minute long clip. We're going to listen to this, and then I'm going to go through these other clips to see if anything got left out or if Meltzer said what the GOAT clipped anything that I may have looked over. But this is fucking
The best guy is
hilarious.
Tony Khan.
And Bryan is ready to punch Dave in the face. He's ready to get a divorce.
Kenny celebration. This whole thing went 21 minutes. And it started with the Bucks. They're kind of putting over Kenny. And then also...
sorry. What they're talking about is Dynamite last night at time of recording. Time Cop. Kenny Omega had the celebration, and I was watching it live on PWT Live, which goes down every Wednesday and Saturday night live on YouTube. And I was saying, guys, they stuffed 4 weeks of shit. 4 weeks worth of shit into this one promo segment. Why? Because Kenny's a part-timer. Let's continue.
Then there's a bright flash of light, and everyone is like, what the fuck's going on? And the announcers start giggling, and they never explain what happened, but what happened was...
And the
someone
announcers start giggling. Ha ha! Wah, 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 wah! Oh, intense! Wah, wah! It's so wah, wah, wah! AEW's commentary sucks balls.
Set off the pyro in the middle of this promo. It scared the hell out of everybody. So Kenny then gives a big victory speech.
So it's a botch. So somebody fucked up. The production sets off the pyro. And the commentators laugh it off. Why? Because Tone's in their ears going, no! Oh, it's great! I love it! And they know that he can hear everything they're saying, and they don't want to go, ugh. If it was Bobby the Brain, he would go, ugh. No, he'd find a clever line to make about it. AEW just goes, whoa, 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 whoa!
And says we're going to get the best version of Kenny Omega. Ospreay comes out. He asks the Bucks to leave so he can talk to Kenny. Gives him a big speech about how the best bout machine is back. I've idolized you for the last 10 years. You're my hero. Every time I step into the ring, it's a tribute to you. August 30th, we're going to show everybody where the best wrestle. So they're about to shake hands when Kevin Knight comes out. And Kevin Knight comes down and tells Ospreay to please leave, and Kenny says, no, he can stay.
And their reviews are so boring. They just say what happened on the show. Like, yeah, buddy, we watched the shit. And then they argue about shit with no, like, you have to, when you're reviewing this shit, just some word of advice. And this is why the Observer, they're just like pure news journalists. Like, they're just like, our job is just to report what happened. Okay. You got to talk about things like Kevin Knight's a terrible heel. He just does this fake, like, I'm a bad guy now tone in his voice. Ever since he's turned heel, it's cringe. He's not like an extension of himself as a heel. It's just a guy trying to be a heel. You got to point that out.
And so Kenny says, I know you're going to give this guy a shot at, or Kevin says, I know you're going to give this guy a shot at Wembley, but And
I know Dragon Ball's catching up to the manga, but look how in depth and how long the manga's gone and how fucking much stories there are and shit that we haven't even seen on screen from the manga and stuff like that. So it's all about storytelling. The reason manga does so well, fucking storytelling. It kicks American comic books asses now. Because American comic books is just people preaching their fucking self-insert characters and sociological ideologies or however the fuck you phrase it on other people. It's cringe as fuck.
I'm Stallone a world title shot. Everybody boos. He says...
Manga's like, here's characters you like, and here's everybody kicking fucking ass and doing cool shit. And it's so cool. Here's a TV show now that everybody watches too.
MJF isn't here to give it to me, so you should. Kenny then says, hold on a second. You were given a promise by MJF and you want me to, you're going to hold me to his word? He goes, I'm not going to do that. But he says,
shut out chat. You guys rule.
I am willing to give you a shot because you have the it factor. You have everything a superstar possesses. You look great. You're fast. You jump high. But he says, this Don Callis thing.
Imagine you're hearing this, like you didn't watch the show. You'd be like, this is the most boring garbage ever. Who the fuck's watching this? And also, Bry's not saying, and this has gone on for 15 minutes now. He already spent too long in the ring with fucking the Bucks. Then he spent too long in the ring with Kevin Knight or Ospreay. Now he's spending too long with Kevin Knight.
You don't need to hang around with Don. He's basically trying to convince. He says, no.
So let's just skip Kevin Knight this. We all saw it. Let's just skip
fleeing.
Darby attacks.
As he is fleeing, he gets attacked.
Now, it's okay that he fled. That's okay. That's what the chicken shit heel does, but it was cringe. It should have just been him laying Kenny out. But then Darby comes out, then Trent Beretta comes out, then 15 people come out, and then Mox's tough guy music hits, and he does this fake tough guy snarl with his fake little cringy fucking... Ooh, I'm walking like a tough guy. Shooby doo wah wah. I'm a greaser. Right? And he starts walking up and his music's playing and the crowd's like, what the fuck? Who cares? And he got the worst reaction out of anybody. It was the worst shit ever. And listen to Dave now. Dave's going to spurg.
Fleeing, he gets attacked and his ass beat by Darby Allin. Brian Cage then runs down to beat up Darby Allin. The rest of the family then starts heading down to the ring. The Death Riders then show up to protect Will and Kenny.
We know it was garbage. So now here, Dave's going to spurg here. Let's go.
Yep.
It was great, Brian. You didn't know it was great? Listen to fucking Dave here.
They did the best job they could to make Kenny Omega and Kevin Knight interesting.
So it was incredibly uninteresting. And if the best job they could was a D+, then it's shit. Now, Dave is going to say, I really enjoyed it because all he's doing is just trying to get over and push AEW, and he thinks he's helping. And he is, again, dog whistling the fucking tards who give him money and still worship everything that he fucking says.
Stupid idiot.
Right? He is like telling them to go and repeat it was actually a good Dynamite, and I think it was good.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it. I don't know if on the surface, that's not a pay-per-view main event.
I really like Kevin Knight.
On the surface, it's not a pay-per-view main event. Yeah, dude, you're fucking the Canadian fans. Tone's being lazy, going, we'll just throw Kenny against whoever because Canada, even though people in Montreal don't give a fuck about Manitoba, dude, where Kenny's from, they are like, we spit at you. You fucking hillbillies. En français? Parlez en français? No? Oh, fuck you. That's how Montreal looks at the rest of that part of Canada, especially. Okay. And Tone's just being fucking lazy. And we already know the outcome, stupids. How about Tone's the worst booker? How about we give him the worst booker award?
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Because we already know who's going to win that match. It's going to be Kenny Omega. Kevin Knight's not winning. We already know.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
On the surface, it's not a good match because, well, Kevin Knight isn't really established and Kenny's obviously going to defend because we've already announced the main event of All In. So why would they just switch the title? Doesn't even make fucking sense. It's predictable, just like when they said Kenny Omega could never challenge again. It became predictable, just like when MJF won in New York, it was predictable. Just like how they set up Darby was predictable. Just like everything's fucking predictable. And Dave's like quivering. You could hear it in his voice. He's like, oh, because he knows he's about to say some foolish shit and act a fucking fool. And Brian's going to go, no, Dave.
But
trying Brian here. I give him points.
I mean, on the surface, it's not.
I don't know, man.
They did, but Kenny's work on the mic was tremendous.
It was not tremendous. It was like a B. It was like a B minus, and which is like pretty solid. He did better than he usually has, especially for that long. Usually, he does not go that long without fucking cringing everyone out. And when Kenny gets serious on the mic, he can be pretty good. And when he's wearing a suit and shit, he comes across, he does. Yeah, there is like a bit of an aura about him still, for sure. He's done some dope shit in wrestling. But was it tremendous work? None of any of this was tremendous. It was all very, very mid for 21 minutes of mid. 21.
I think that, like he did the best that he could do. Under the circumstances, and Knight did too. It's just a question of, is he ready? And I think it's a little early.
Knight did too. Knight's, and this is no I like Kevin Knight. Terrible. He's terrible as a heel. He's terrible at it. He is, man. The physical aspect, he's good at selling and shit. Like after he glommed Kenny and then he took off, like the scrambly nature of him running away and like the face he's making on the rent. He's all good. Just not a good heel. He needs like NXT to really like take that shit to the next level, in my opinion.
But I don't know.
And Dave just goes, I don't know. None of it matters. Remember last week? Nothing matters, Brian. None of it matters.
Clearly, we know the match was supposed to be MJF, and that match would have done would have been a very successful pay-per-view main event. Didn't happen. Not, they did it early. Okay. Did they have a great idea? Someone ready right away? I mean,
did they have a great idea? Someone right away. Let's bring that back and just listen one more time to that. Let's see what the fuck he's even trying to say.
Main event didn't happen. Not, they did it early.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Did they have a great idea? Someone ready right away?
Did they have a great idea? Someone ready right away? What? Not only was, if you have to go, no, then it's not great. And you're like, did they have a great idea? Someone who's ready right away. The fuck does that mean, stupid? Just book him against Mike Bailey. This is where you do the cage bullshit match. You do it in Montreal. And then you don't have to defend the title. You just avoid it altogether. Put Kenny with Edge and Christian and Mike Bailey, and they fight Kevin Knight and 4 fucking guys in a cage. Team Canada versus whatever the fuck. Like, hello, that's better booking. I just made that up in a freestyle. So what are we talking about here? Let me think if it was great, because everything's great, Bryan.
I mean,
No.
No, the answer is fucking no, you tard. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's no. Why'd you struggle to say no? He's got to wipe. He's wiping the tears away. Oh my God, Dave's coping and he's wiping the tears.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
He's emotional.
Emotional damage.
Obviously not. Obviously, I mean, he could have gone with Fletcher. He could have gone with Okada. Those at least would have been.
What, dude? Yeah, Okada again. Do Okada again. Everybody's so tired of tard wrangling these sickos, dude. Yeah, do Okada again for the 18th time. They could have did Fletcher. Why? Why doesn't Fletcher have his own story surrounding his belt and he's not beating Commander, who you call a jobber? Like, why isn't that the case?
Andrade, I mean, I think all those would have been stronger. But
Andrade should be challenging for the world title.
This was the choice. They did, wouldn't have been my choice.
Andrade got a bigger pop than anyone in that whole segment. And he wasn't in that one, I don't think he was, but I'm just talking in the show when Andrade gets a better pop than like Moxley does.
I mean, at the same time, it is a gimme match. I think they want everyone to know he's not losing because these Wembley tickets are going real, real well right now. And I mean, the one thing is Omega and
whoa, what did he just say? Hold on.
Losing because these Wembley tickets are going real, real well right now. And
these Wembley tickets are going real, real well right now. Is he being sarcastic?
Shut up, bitch.
I'm going to give Dave the benefit of the doubt and say he's being sarcastic right now.
I mean, the one thing is Omega and Will it's a hot commodity match. It's really a hot match.
Oh, man, it's a hot match. Says who? It's a hot match if the crowd tells you there's heat on the fucking match. If the tickets are going like hotcakes, they're not. AEW did a 50% sale. They sold 2,000 more tickets. No update since. It's not because Kenny was announced. Everybody knew Kenny would be there. It doesn't matter what combination of wrestlers wrestle. They're all great matches. That's how you guys have marketed AEW, right? So then what you're saying doesn't matter. And it's not a hot commodity match. No, it's not. No, it's not. Whatever MJF's doing is the hottest. That would have been the hotter match to put together. Why? Because MJF is heat. The crowd's behind Kenny. Ospreay's a dud. He has no heat. He has no momentum. The crowd just cheers him because they're like, ugh. He's got a cool theme. I'll give him that.
Now, I mean, they've
I love the idea that we've switched the title. We've hot potatoed the title for the first time in AEW history over the last 6 months.
Hot potato.
And now he's worried we got to make sure people know what the main event is for Wembley.
Dave's brain is mashed bananas.
Well, obviously they want to sell tickets for Wembley. Actually, that makes all the sense.
Well,
in
you know,
world
the other
with
thing you
that.
could do is not have him defend the title. I mean, there's other things that he could do.
There's a pay-per-view. I mean, he should have defended.
We just had a pay-per-view where the
title wasn't defended. They should have did the cage clusterfuck in Quebec. Cage clusterfuck in Quebec. Cage clusterfuck in Quebec. Say that 5 times.
Champion didn't defend the title.
Yeah, I know. And guess what? It didn't do as well as the other.
Well, there were a lot.
Conor didn't do as well, even though I tried to lie and say they did as well. Yeah, but who cares, Dave? Because you guys are excited to go to Paramount, right? So pay-per-view will be gone because they pay billions for people to not do fucking pay-per-view.
Liar!
Or do you just not know what the fuck you're talking about ever?
Reason to do.
Who gives a fuck? Because you're still saying they did 140,000 buys or whatever. So who gives a fuck? So Kevin Knight versus Omega for the title is going to draw more than MJF and 12 dudes in a cage? Are you sure about that? Dave just makes up invisible lies. Well, when they do a title match, there's more. He just won't go, well, the Google trends are low. Redemption Google trends will be lower than Forbidden Doors. Mark my fucking words.
Do as well. That's one of them.
And this one has. Well, this one's one of them too. And this one's the same thing. Has all the same reasons. The problem with this one is like they added a pay-per-view to do Kenny and MJF, and then they decided.
So Tone's a terrible booker. So then he doesn't win Booker of the Year. So this is a bigger fuck up than Triple H going, okay, everybody thinks Oba's just going to go for the belt. Brock is telling us he's done in Minneapolis. Like he's done. We're going to do Oba, Brock, Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam. Here's how we're going to get there. Brock's not going to interfere. Oba's just going to win because we're not beating him yet. And then he's going to fucking say, you know what? I'm challenging Brock. The title match will always be there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm the ruler. And again, man, Paige can give up title shots, but the ruler goes, no, I'm betting on myself. Like, I'm so dominant, I'll beat Brock and I'll give up my title shot because I will get it eventually. So he's betting on himself. So just a part of his character build here, a part of his story arc is him going, you know what? I have to take care of this and I'll be world champ regardless. Don't you worry. That somehow is worse than them creating, according to Dave, a whole pay-per-view to do Kenny, MJF, and then they have to pull the plug, and then it's Kenny versus Kevin Knight. You know what I'm saying? Like, terrible booking, terrible planning, terrible creative.
They do it before the pay-per-view, so now they have a payper-view. He had to defend. I mean, like, he could have defended against Fletcher. I mean, Fletcher is awesome. I mean, I mean, there's no reason not to. They'd have, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he would have killed Kenny, but with the way he wrestles. But I mean, as far as just a match, I mean,
as far as just a match, well, guess what, buddy? I can turn on any wrestling show and see just a match. I can pay $15, go to the local indie and see, no, indies charge more than that. But you pay $25, you go to the local indie, you can see just a match. I can turn on YouTube right now and watch just a match. I don't want to see just a match, Dave. Nobody wants to see just a match. And further proof that you and your limp hand, that you keep very limp gripping the mic because you need it for when you're all oiled up watching Dynamite or Kendall Gray matches. Dave, you and your limp hand don't give a fuck about that. You just like to see people do moves.
Fletcher to me he was so great tonight. And but
what does he have to do with anything? So put him in there and have him lose to Kenny. You're a fucking terror. You don't know shit with your cock to the head, cock to the side like a fucking LA Valley girl. Oh, Brian.
With Kevin and
fucking Cali Valley girl.
We'll see. It's not, on paper, is that a pay-per-view main event? The answer is no. Will they pull it off?
Will they pull it off? Dipshit, dumb fuck. So the pay-per-view means you have to buy it and then you see it. So this is how pay-per-view matches work, Dave. You book them and then people go, I want to see that. So you book them on paper, Dave. And then people go, I want to see that. So they buy the pay-per-view. This is how fucking stupid Dave is. He's so dumb, man. He thinks that, the night of the pay-per-view, they go and have a banger, then it's a pay-per-view quality match. And so many of these sickos, so many of these elbows, so many of these people go pay-per-view quality matches on Dynamite. No, they're not. No, they're not. A pay-per-view quality match is a match you put on paper. And everybody goes, I'm going to pay for that. Oh, shit. That is worth my goddamn money. So when it's like Garcia went out there and had a banger with Utah, man, that's not pay-per-view quality because they did a bunch of moves and the crowd was like, holy shit. Stupid, dumb fucks. Okay? When you go The Rock, Steve Austin. Whoa, I need Hogan, Rock. Well, I got to pay to see that. So is it pay-per-view on paper? Well, if it isn't, then it's not pay-per-view quality. Dumb. So what are we talking about here? Will they pull it off the night of? So if they go and do a bunch of moves and the crowd's like, whoa, ça c'est awesome. En français, right? This is awesome. Fight forever. And it's 6,000 marks. Because I don't even think they've sold 6,000 tickets for Redemption, have they? What are AEW Redemption ticket sales at? Let's just Google it. How many have they sold? They haven't even sold 6,000 tickets or distributed. And they're only set up for 6,000. So because 6,000 Canadian fucking sickos are like, this is awesome. That makes it a pay-per-view quality match.
Goodwill and stuff like that.
Dave's a moron. He doesn't even understand.
It's also a problem because it's like everyone knows the show is all in. This show is, when we know the all in main event and I guess we don't know the women's one because
we know the all in. See, now Dave's trying to keep kayfabe for tone. When we know the main event, we already know it. Do you really think Kevin Knight's going to win the belt? Do you really think that? They are already advertising Kenny versus Ospreay.
Mercedes is challenging. It's probably going to be Willow if she beats.
Which is garbage too. Monet versus Willow. So a match we've already seen. So Tekla can't even have a reign, and then Monet, the fans embrace her by being the one to thwart Tekla because they got to do Willow Monet because that's a feud that started in New Japan Strong, and it's lousy, bro.
Tekla, By the way, Tekla and Tekla Julia Hart and Sky Blue are going Saturday night to
Dave, if you don't if you can't even say it, then what the fuck
retard alert class.
Then who cares? It's not even worth noting if you're like, they're going to, and what the fuck does that have to do with what Brian's talking about? See how he just skirts it off in his babble ramblings to something else? Because he can't just address that this ain't shit. He can't just go, yeah, this ain't shit. I don't know what they're thinking. Let's talk about Stardom now, Bri. Okay, Dave.
Everyone knows the show is all in. This show is, when we know
everyone knows the show is all in. This show is, when we know the all in. The fuck are you talking about?
All in.
Listen to this
event, and I guess we don't know the women's one because Mercedes is challenging. It's probably going to be Willow if she beats Tekla. By the way, Tekla and
it's probably going to be Willow if Willow beats Tekla. Oh, you don't say. Great analysis there, Unk. What the fuck, man? People pay this guy.
By the way, Tekla and
it's not like his writing's better. His writing is 100 commas, 17 sentence paragraphs, no punctuation, starting sentences, and then fucking starting complete new ones after not erasing what he was already writing.
By the way, Tekla and Tekla Julia Hart and Sky Blue are going Saturday night to challenge for the trios championship with Stardom, and Julia is staying there because she's going to be in the 5-star Grand Prix. So, and then Willow, I think the same night is in for Tokyo Joshi Pro. So they're both there, and then coming back and everything. But I think there's a good shot that Willow's winning over Tekla.
What the fuck does any of that have to do with anything, man?
Any celebration. This
Dave is fucking cooked, man. He's straight dog shit. So here's Dave. We already heard this. He glazed Kenny Omega, saying he did tremendous work on the mic. So now here is Dave talking about, I loved the Dynamite, and Bry's like, I hated it, Dave. And then Dave goes, but WWE, Bryan, lock in. This is so good.
Dude, I hated that Dynamite. Maybe hated is
this
wrong word,
Dynamite? No, the one last year, Dave. What do you think? Which one do you think he means?
Maybe hated is the wrong word, but
I loved it.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
I loved it.
I should just step out.
I loved that show.
Let Garrett do this.
I loved that show. I loved it. Bro, this is what, Dave, don't you understand that the shit you love the most is flat out butt cheek, booty, ass, and no one else like it?
Where's the guy that has papers everywhere in his room?
Show.
I thought it was awesome.
He was going to say, I thought it was one of the best Dynamites. I thought it was awesome. What part was awesome? The 21-minute talking segment? Or the jobber commander taking Fletcher to the limit? He doesn't believe this shit. He's a liar. It's why he's looking down. It's why his hair's jumping off his head. Okay.
Possible.
Why?
What did they say about Hangman?
Nothing. He was not mentioned on the show.
He wasn't mentioned a single time.
Bryan, because Tone doesn't know shit, and now this is dumb from Bryan. Why wasn't Hangman mentioned? Even if he was, would that have made it a better show, asshole? Or would that just have been a in-passing thing? Bryan could destroy Dave way better than he does. He just, gets caught. He gets hung up on stupid shit, too, all the time. Bryan does. Trying Bryan.
I'm on the show.
No, that was bad. I agree.
We have 5 matches for the pay-per-view.
I think we have
the
6.
main event is a match that the fans chanted no, no, no for.
Okay, so that's good. That's an A+. Only 5 or 6 matches on this pay-per-view. Wowza. Amazing. Bravo, Tony Khan. That's what the rest of the world would be saying.
Yeah, but they did a hell of a job. But
they did a hell of a job. No, they didn't, Dave. And if your opinion, that's a hell of a job. And telling by your work ethic. Okay, so making things up, as we've chronicled here tonight on DMDMW, you make things up, you embellish the truth, you cram all of your work in quickly, so you get it done in one night. You just cram it all in. You don't take your time to edit. You don't take time to edit your website or the people who post your social media. There's zero quality control. It's complete garbage. You don't even take time to go, you know what, I'm going to stop saying and and everybody has tics and everybody throws an in there or goes it's like this, everybody does that, everybody. But you do it to a point where it's like you don't even consciously try and adjust that part. Zero quality control. So what you think is great work and they did the best they can. Nobody, your metrics, your standard is very low. Just objectively speaking, your subjective standards, Dave, objectively are very low comparatively to everybody else's, even trying Bryan, which having a low anything compared to Shorty Pie Bry is pretty fucking tough to do. Okay.
No for.
Yeah, but they did a hell of a job. I didn't want that match, but by the time they were done,
you did not want that. Oh, what a liar, bro. What a lie. I did not want that match, but by the time they were done, I went,
poor people don't like AEW.
I did want that match, Bryan. What a liar.
I thought that was Kenny Omega's best mic work that he's ever done in the United States. I wouldn't say ever, but I would say in the United States, I thought he was tremendous.
I actually do agree with that, but it's still subpar. Kenny's best mic work is like not as good as LA Knight versus Seth on Raw, and even that was boring. For all the sickos, you're just an E-drone E-shill. No, that got boring and mundane, and I'm not a big fan of Seth talking. Seth's like light years ahead of Omega, and Seth's cringe as fuck. So do you get it, Dave? So just because it's Kenny and you love Kenny doesn't mean it's better than everything else in the whole fucking world.
I thought Will was tremendous.
Will's cringe and whack and shitty, and people don't connect with him, right? The fucking nerds in the crowd do. Yep, you've whittled down your audience. They connect. He is cringy, bro. Osprey's like full blown. He's like a middle schooler, has an adult body and $1 million, and just like, I was banging a girl, bruv. I get laid, bruv. Can you believe it, bruv? It's just like cringy. Okay, what are you, in high school? What are you going to tell the story about the time you caught the fucking touchdown next? Or are you going to talk about cartoons you like to watch Saturday mornings? Like, it's super cringy, man.
I thought Kevin Knight was tremendous. They thought they did the best they could.
He got beat up by Darby immediately after the fans chanted, "No, no, no."
I know. But the mic work was awesome.
So even their fans were like, this is garbage. But the mic work was awesome. You're coping. Kevin Knight's mic work is terrible. Way better as a babyface. Way better. As a heel, there's no one coaching him how to be a heel. He's just in a heel faction. And the only people there are like Moxley, who doesn't know how to book a fucking heel. He's the worst booked heel maybe ever in the history of fucking pro wrestling. And he's the worst. So what are we talking about?
Well, we'll see what the big things. I mean, he's going to kill Darby next week, though.
He's going to kill Darby next week. No, they're going to go to the limit. They're going to have a 75-minute fucking match where they go 50-50, and then he's going to get a pin because Hechicero's going to run out or something.
Oh my God.
And then what does that have to do with anything? What does that do to make this Dynamite good? Well, yeah, he's going to beat Darby next week. What does that have to do with this Dynamite that Bry's talking about, Dave? He's fucking sick in the head. Dave is unhinged. I'm becoming unhinged, admittedly. Also, I'm doing a radio show, okay? But Dave is unhinged, dude. He's unhinged. He's emotional. We caught him crying earlier. So now Dave, I think this is the same clip. Yes, he loved it. He loved the show. Here's Dave going, but WWE, Bryan. Listen to this fucking cope.
Opening the show is a match with Christian and Copeland versus Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia for the World Tag Team titles. You know they announced this 1 hour before the show went on the air?
And again, it's an L from Tone. It's who's in town. It's what guys want to do. So Edge and Christian are like, yeah, we'll defend our titles, Okay. And then the Death Riders are there. Wheeler and Garcia haven't done shit to earn the tag titles. They want to talk about sports-based real wrestling, but the record thing failed multiple times. And there's no pecking order. And the problem with the belts isn't just that people have belts, like so many people have belts. It's not just that. In AEW, it's that anyone can challenge for any fucking belt and anyone can get beat and become the number one contender. And the belts just have never been more meaningless too. And so when Brian's like, they announced this 1 hour before the show. Yeah, because Tony's a shit booker and he could have announced it a week out. Right? And Dave is going to defend this. Well, WWE does that too. Here's the difference with WWE, okay? Monday Night Raw pulls up to a city and people know what to expect for the most part. Now, yes, do you know if Brock's going to be there every time? No. Do they advertise Brock? Yes. Do you know if John Cena's might just pop up at it? No, not every time. Do you know if Cody Rhodes or Royce Keys is going to show up from SmackDown? You don't. There are some outliers like Roman Reigns. Is he going to be at every Raw? No. But if Raw's coming to town, is there a chance he's going to be on it? Yes. But do you know who is going to be there? Like Penta and Rusev and Io Sky's probably going to have a match in the Judgment Day, and Danhausen's going to come and shoot T-shirts with a cannon. Like, it's a fucking league where people are on the show every week. In AEW, Now, Tone's done a better job of this, admittedly, but there's like no core group of guys. There's so many part-timers. There's so many people just sitting at home, and then all of a sudden they're in Ring of Honor, then they're gone again. And you're like, okay. There's so many people in the company, and you don't routinely even see Yuta and Garcia on Dynamite unless they're standing in the background of a Mox promo. A lot of the time, they just do random shit on other shows. So the problem with Tone doing this is that if you go, hey, the Intercontinental title's being defended tonight, Penta, whatever, okay, WWE's like a league and Penta's on Raw, and I fucking know that Penta's going to be at Raw and he's going to have his title there, so why not? You don't know how often Edge and Christian will even be on TV. They both just disappear for months at a time, right? You don't even know. I don't even think Tone knows till the week of. Edge and Christian, can you come to TV? That's what he's doing. Well, Yuta and Garcia are here. Okay, you guys get in there. That's why there's no build up to a tag title match. And they're using Edge and Christian and their tag titles they're the background characters in setting up the Dogs versus the Bang Bang Gang. That's Tone's brilliant fucking booking. Put all these people in prison for how bad this fucking show is.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
So Edge and Christian are the backup dancers for the Dogs and Bang Bang Gang, or whatever the fuck is going on. Tone has no plan for them. So Bry gets hung up on this. Oh, well, they announced it an hour before. Yes, that's a giant L. But you can't even get hung up on that all the time, because obviously this is what's been going on for years, and everybody said it's bullshit how Tone does this. But you should give them shit for this, because there's no build to anything, and WWE can't get shit for this. The reason being because you know who the fuck Damian Priest and Truth are going to be on SmackDown, so if they defend the tag titles, no fucking shit, because there was tag matches last week and blah, blah, blah. Like, Trick Williams is going to be there. He might defend his fucking title. That's how WWE's established that. Okay? AEW establishes nothing. They do the opposite. The only thing they have established is that Tone does last-minute booking, so who cares, whatever. The problem is you can't who cares whatever in AEW. You need to be promoting Edge and Christian will be there. You need to promote that all week long so you do better attendance, so more people turn on the TV. Edge and Christian and Kenny and, other shit that they announced last minute that Brian's got his panties in a bunch about. So it doesn't matter what WWE does, because it's apples to oranges. And Dave does this all the time. He goes, well, it's apples to oranges. But they are beating Raw. No, dude. WWE does this because it's not the same thing. WWE is a sports-based, sports entertainment program. It's way more sports-based. Just go watch the NFL, go watch an NBA game, look at the way it's presented, and then compare that to WWE, then compare that to AEW, and tell me which one is more sports-based. Okay? It's just not the same thing.
No.
An hour.
Well, WWE does that too.
Dave, it's a tag team title match, dude.
Oh, man, Bry just snapped. CWJ for 2, sweet, says Kevin Knight would be a mid-carder in NXT at best. I think he'd be in and around the top eventually, but right now, you're right. He'd be a mid-carder, and he would be a guy who was learning how to do heel promo work way better. He'd be in a faction or some shit right now.
Dave, it's a tag team title match, dude. We had 2 matches announced. Dave, hold on a second.
That happens all the time.
Listen to Dave whimpering like a fucking mutt. We. Well,
WWE does that too.
Dave, it's a tag team title match, dude. We had 2 matches announced. Dave, hold on a second.
That happens all the time.
Last week's show.
I'm not saying they shouldn't have announced it. Of course,
it sounds like.
Then what are you saying? Yeah, I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but they should have. Well, then why did you say but WWE? Then why did you even say that, Dave? Because you're coping and you're fucking seething.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what
we had to run
seeing.
it again.
Yes, you're coping and seething. you are molding and coping so hard, coping and seething.
You're defending it here.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying.
I don't care what WWE does.
It's not WWE.
I don't care.
They do it every single week. They do
Listen.
this every single week.
Who cares? Are you talking about AEW? That's not a good thing. If I stuck a fork in the electric socket every single week, it wouldn't mean it's a fucking good thing just because I do it every week. It's actually insanity. It's actually not a good thing. It's actually insanity doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. AEW's not growing because of shit like this, Dave, and you make excuses and sweep for it, and then your sycophants who come to me and go, all this guy does is make fun of Dave Meltzer. It's like, bitch, I've done 100 and some episodes of my pod. I've done 265 PWT live shows. I've done 35 episodes of this show, 36 or whatever. And all I do is roast Dave. Okay.
You want to cry about it every week?
Yes, I will.
It's like, yes.
Let's cry about it every week, Dave. Let's do it until something changes because it's just hurting AEW.
Yes, they could have announced it ahead of time.
They could have, but they didn't, so it doesn't matter. No, it matters, Dave. It matters.
Don't, okay? They don't. He has a strategy that he wants
see what Dave's saying? They don't. Tone has a strategy, okay, but it's a poor strategy. It doesn't work. They don't, but it's the best show, and it's beating Raw. Eat the slop up. So again, whenever sickos go, oh, you just like to eat the slop? No, you're TikTok brained. It's just match, last minute, 0 retention rate, goldfish brain. Fucking just forget it, on to the next. Forget it, on to the next. That's AEW. That's what Tone's catering to. Move, match, doesn't matter, nothing matters, on to the next. How many of you have been scrolling your phone and you're watching food TikToks or whatever, you're watching food reels, and then you see some like eggs Benny or someone makes like a fucking pizza taco or some shit, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to try that, and then within 15 minutes or 5 minutes later, you're just like on to some other shit and you're just like, oh, that looks delicious too. And you just forget. The next morning you wake up, you doom scroll to fall asleep. You wake up and you don't even remember one fucking recipe you saw. You don't remember one of them. That's what AEW is, folks. It's just move, match, on to the next. Who cares? Here's another pay-per-view just cause. Oh, fuck it. Who cares? And it doesn't matter. Dave's literally said, none of it matters. It doesn't matter. That's what he thinks. It's just slop. Eat your slop, plebs. Eat your slop, piggies, plebeians. Eat your slop, peasants. That's how Tone treats the audience. And if he didn't, he'd put more thought and time and care into promotion and structuring good storylines and story arcs.
As a strategy that he wants to announce matches on the day of the show, whether it works or not, I don't know. This is the strategy. And WWE has the same strategy.
But hold on.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Not all the time. And it's not WWE. You got to quit comparing it to WWE. Even MLW doesn't do this strategy, Dave. Even MLW goes, next week on Fusion, the Good Brothers are teaming up with Cruel to take on the new Skyscrapers. They even announced shit a week out. MLW 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out was going, we're creating the Southern Crown Championship. Learn more about it next week. Creating anticipation and drama. TNA does it. AEW's more akin to TNA than anything. You want to talk about like willingness to do indie type kind of silly shit sometimes and really go out there be out there with some of the shit they do. It'd be more akin to TNA, and look at what TNA does. Well, AEW's beating TNA. Well, WWE's beating AEW and TNA and everybody's ass. Not in America. Like, what would Dave's debate be? I don't understand how Nielsen works, Phil Marks. Or Netflix. Like, so I'm right and you're wrong. Like, what would he say?
Strategy.
But hold on a second.
They sometimes announce title matches after the show started in both companies.
Can I ask you a question?
Well, what?
Did you know before the show last week that show was going to do a great number?
They sometimes announce title matches after the show, whatever. Yeah, but Dave, here's the difference. They go, Sami Zayn taking on Cody Rhodes at this show. And then Zayn's there and Rhodes is there. Then Rhodes gets written off. And then it's an open challenge title match. Or maybe that's a bad example because they did say it was going to be a title match. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like, let's just take any belt. You know that Trick Williams is going to be there. And you know that Carmelo Hayes is likely going to be there. So if during the show, Trick Williams goes, and dog, I'm going to put my title on the line. Whoop that Trick. Whoop that Trick. Motherfucker, it's not like a shock. But with Edge and Christian, you don't know even if they're going to be at every pay-per-view, buddy. I don't even think we know if they're going to be in Canada at Redemption. I'm assuming they are. I don't even think we know. Have they announced? Maybe they've announced something, and I don't recall. I can't remember all the matches right now, but
Oh yeah.
Because I did.
Because of the main event and no
Title
competition.
match, right?
The main event and no competition, and the conflict match too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And no World Cup, right?
No World Cup. That was,
Okay.
which is why they did
So
that.
if you were in charge and you knew that show was going to do a great number,
Yes.
would you not have built up a card for the following week's Dynamite?
or just said Edge, fuck a card. Just go Cage and Cope, Edge and Christian are going to be there. They could very well defend those tag titles. I'm going to meet with them this week and see if they're primed and ready. This could be one of Tone's 1-minute Instagram lives. You could do it earlier in the week. I just got home off the phone with Cage and Cope. They will be there next week and I will fucking blah, blah, blah. There's zero thought or effort. It's just take the matches, piggies. Eat your slop up, oinkers. That's what it is, man. It's going to come to light. Even Bry's got to admit it. He's losing his mind because he's given Dave so much leeway.
100%.
Or would you not have mentioned that Hangman Page was appearing on Collision on Saturday?
Well, the Page thing ended up doing the number, so I can't criticize him now. I mean,
The
at
show did a
time-
good number, but like, had they advertised him?
I wish that they
Had they advertised him for this?
But you can't answer the question like Dave. He's asking you, would you have done that? And you just go, well, I can't blame them now. Okay, but would they have done a better number if they did? Hypothetically, you want to go if there was 300K watching on, so you can't just answer this hypothetical
show, perhaps? Had they advertised last
He
week
wasn't
that the
on the- he
World
wasn't on
Tag
the
Team titles were going to be on the line on this show?
No.
They had one
should-
match announced last week, which was Andrade and
Doyle.
That's the only match that they had announced last week on Dynamite.
Yes, they should have announced more.
What a fucking schlub, man. Dave is such a schlub. So I don't know if this is extended.
They all of a sudden, see for the world. Sounds like you're defending it here.
I'm not defending it. I'm just saying.
I don't care what WWE does.
It's not WWE.
I don't care.
They do it every single week. They
Listen.
do this every single week. You want after the show started in both companies.
Can I ask you a question?
Well,
was going to do a great number.
I can't criticize him now.
Last
He
week
wasn't
that
on
the
he
World
wasn't on
Tag
the
Team titles were going to be on the line on this show?
No.
They had one
should-
match announced last week, which was Andrade and
Doyle. Yes, they should have announced more. They should have, especially because they had, I mean, like the match.
Oh my God. I'm so glad that I listened to the end of this clip because Meltzer said what has a little bit more. Listen to the ending. They should have had, especially because the matches. Oh my God.
match announced last week, which was Andrade and
Doyle.
That's the only match that they
listen to this. This is gold.
They had announced last week on Dynamite.
Yes, they should have announced more. They should have, especially because they had, I mean, like the match that they did.
His brain is melting.
The only reason I know about this is because of
Holy shit, man. That's crazy. Well, but they should have, especially because the matches they had, Brian. What a fucking dummy, dude. He's unhinged. Okay. Now we have a couple of WWE clips to get into here. But first, I want to finish up these Impact clips here that I fucking accidentally went over. And we have a Dave Meltzer throwback clip. So let's get into these. So Here's the Spike TV story. Dave Meltzer pushed to smear Vince Russo. Dave Meltzer has spent decades pushing anti-Russo narratives. He never apologized or issued a correction. Dave is a stupid dirt sheet mark. He's a fucking liar. Also, Russo was like, bro, let me tell you today, I, hand to God, bro, I blocked Dave Meltzer, bro. That's what he said today on Twitter. He blocked Dave. He's like, I can't handle it anymore. And so here's an excerpt from the WCW Nitro book. And I think there were executives who gave quotes and spoke on this, former Spike TV executives. And this is from Beyond Nitro, Guy Evans's book. And they had this to say, that they canceled Impact because of money issues or whatever the fuck.
Despite the conjecture proposing that Russo...
And this is an excerpt. This is from the audiobook version of Beyond Nitro, but these are quotes from Spike TV executives at the time. I believe, actually, let's read this. According to Spike TV's own executives, why they canceled TNA. Let's take a listen.
Secret TNA involvement had been a proverbial last straw relative to the company's working relationship with Spike. The matter did not, as a matter of fact, influence the decision.
Everybody go and get Beyond Nitro, Guy Evans's book. Shout out whoever's narrating this. It could be, I don't know.
In the least bit. In the final analysis, states Kevin Kay, the decision was informed by the age-old issues, quote, ratings and money. It had reached a point where the ratings were just not improving.
Ratings and money,
he says. And after being in business for a bunch of years, the license fee, while not anywhere near the WWE or the UFC, was cost prohibitive. At some point, we ran the math and it was like, the ratings don't match the price.
We ran the math. If that's Dave saying that, I laugh. If that's the executives, which I believe it is, amazing.
Furthermore, we still didn't have any kind of robust advertising revenue.
I just don't ever like hearing Dave talk about math because he fuddy-duddies with the numbers. It's not him. This is actually the Spike TV executive saying this.
The salespeople didn't really feel like they could break that wall down about wrestling, so the deal was up, and we were like, sorry, unfortunately, we've had a good run. Dixie tried to come back with a plan to reduce the budget, but my sense was, at the time, that reducing the budget wasn't the problem. It wasn't like it was all that much money anyway. It was a good amount of money, but cutting the budget wasn't going to increase the ratings. It was probably going to do the opposite, so we just made the decision to let it go. Reporting by Mike Johnson later revealed that as part of the negotiations, TNA had solicited a rights fee of $26 million.
So there you go. It was money and ratings, okay? So here's what Final Boss XL said. Here's the Spike TV story Dave Meltzer pushed to smear Vince Russo. He's a fucking liar. The second was Spike was outright lied to about Vince Russo not working for the company, Bryan. It had nothing to do with Vince Russo. So what Dave did was he listened to Jim Cornette's spats. He listened to the online dirt sheet with the boys in the back and everybody telling fucking big fish stories. And they're all the rumors and the gossip and the little birdies and the innuendo. And Dave has ran with this narrative for years, but from executives' own mouths, which Dave does not study and learn. He doesn't know executives. He doesn't know shit about the television business.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
And he fears flutes.
Just
and
in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
And so Dave goes, that's why TNA was do you think they know who the fuck Russo is? Anyways, that's why TNA was in such a panic when Russo's email accidentally was sent to Mike Johnson, because they had, denied Russo was working there after Spike had made it clear a long time ago they didn't want him involved, Bryan. No, it's because they were already embarrassed. If you watch the Dark Side of the Ring, Dixie Carter was already embarrassed to the boys, and she didn't want to embarrass herself further because it was the boys. It was the boys in the back who were being kayfabed and worked into thinking Russo had nothing to do with anything. And so Dixie was scrambling and people in TNA were scrambling because they knew they fucked up, because it would be revealed that Russo was still working for her after she had lied to people that she also worked with. Not Spike. They don't give a shit. TNA had evidently figured if they didn't tell anyone that nobody would, even though people did know. And then Dave always does this, even though we all knew he worked there. You didn't know shit. Shut up. Even though people did know, there was no tangible proof until Russo's accident put TNA in a position where they couldn't deny it any longer. With negotiations already tenuous, this was a disaster. Why TNA continued to use Russo in creative when Spike made it clear they wanted no involvement with him is a question that nobody has come close to being able to answer, Bryan. No, Dave, you got worked by a worker who works you, because that's what wrestlers do, and they lie to you to get favorable coverage, and they'll even leak you a story when it's not. It's just some bullshit they have to say, and the boys will do this to Dave. They've done it for years, and they'll work you with a fucking story that isn't true so that you cover them favorably and think you're getting news. And they clearly didn't express that, or else in Guy Evans' book, they would have went, yeah. And also it was the ratings and all that. That was the main thing. But also Vince Russo fucked things up. No, they go, Dixie Carter even came back, tried to make shit work. We were just like, no, we're good. He would have been like, oh, and that Vince Russo shit was fucked up. And especially because it's a book that has to do with WCW as well. Right? It's from the Nitro book. So they're talking about TNA. It's a book mainly about WCW, I'm assuming. Right? So they didn't bring up, and Vince Russo fucked everybody. So Dave, you're lying. So what you do is you lie. So now here, we skipped over this too. So Instagram AEW Wrestling Historian goes, so here, let's see. So Wrestle Cringe, this goofball, somehow has his Twitter back, goes, bummed the new Dark Side didn't cover TNA losing Spike TV because Dixie lied about firing Vince Russo. Do you see this? These are the dumb fucks who just stan AEW. They believe Dave. They believe Dave, man. Oh, they lost because Dixie lied about firing Vince Russo, and then Vince Russo accidentally emailed PW Insider production notes, the Billy Corgan, Dixie Carter Power Stroke. Shut the fuck up. And then this guy goes, I am Elias WWE goes, the story of that is often passed around. So this is from Mike Johnson, the guy that Vince Russo accidentally emailed. Even Mike Johnson pwned this.
Tell us
okay?
what you know, you goddamn liar!
And Mike Johnson says, the story that is often passed around is that Spike dropped Impact because they were misled that Vince Russo was no longer working for the company when he was actually working there. Since I broke that Russo was secretly working for the company, another version that floats around is that I caused the cancellation via my reporting. The reality is that, and I hate to defend Russo, since he has out and out lied about me in the past, Russo had no bearing on Spike dropping the company. When it came time to renegotiate a deal, Spike wanted to pay more money, and Dixie Carter insisted on a raise in rights fees. One source has told me she was seeking a $26 million deal. Spike refused, wanted a lesser deal. I've heard 14 and 16, and Carter refused and held fast. Spike then opted to drop the series, although Carter, realizing she lost the gold mine, tried to strike a new deal with Spike all the way to the end. It all had to do with TNA's negotiations, nothing more. I'd love to point the finger at Russo, but he had no bearing whatsoever. So you have Dave and his dumb fuck sycophants. Now, this is proof of everything I say. We have to correct this, and we have to make these motherfuckers mad, because his sycophants just regurgitate this message board bullshit, and this is who Tone caters to. People who can't even fucking tie their shoelaces and shit. Okay? I'd be shocked if they could. I'm fearful to go out into the world knowing people like this exist. Not this guy. Shout out Instagram, a wrestling historian. But like Mike Johnson himself is like, this shit isn't true. And then Meltzer goes, that's untrue, by the way. So Dave now is going, that's untrue. So all the people with boots on the ground, the executives at Spike TV, Mike Johnson, who was the guy Russo stooged to, and Mike Johnson also dislikes Vince Russo. Russo, not even Jeff Jarrett, who had a falling out with Russo, allegedly. I don't know, that's the rumors out there. None of these people were like, yeah, and Vince Russo fuck things. Do you not think that on the dark side of the ring, they would have covered that? You think they're like glazing Vince Russo? They've made Vince Russo look to be an asshole in the past in Dark Side of the Ring. You don't think they'd have like made that a huge thing? And they brought in Russo, who had problems with Hulk Hogan. And then fucking Russo blew up their spot, and it reflected poorly on Jeff because he's the one who brought fucking Russo in. You don't think that would have been part of it too? You don't think D'Lo Brown and fucking D'Amore would have been like, oh yeah, and Russo really blew up our fucking spot? Meanwhile, everyone fucking hates Russo, and now we're defending Russo. No, shout out Vince Russo. Shout out Jeff Lane and the brand, dude. But like, you mean to tell me they wouldn't have fucking thrown him under the bus and made him look like an asshole? You have all the people involved, including executives at Spike, going, no, this is what happened. Dave goes, nope, that's untrue. Sahadi covered it in his book, actually. Okay, so now another guy, Sahadi, covered it in his book. Who? What book? Because we just took a listen to another audiobook, and it's completely the opposite, and he talked to executives. Well, Sahadi worked there. Okay, so is he resentful towards, because guess what? Mike Johnson, I wouldn't say is resentful towards Russo, but he doesn't like him. And he didn't throw him under the bus, and the Spike executives don't even know who Russo is, and they didn't throw him under the bus, and the wrestlers there, even guys like Jeff Jarrett, who don't really like, they didn't throw him under the bus. Is Sahadi spiteful to where we don't know? We don't know if Russo pissed him off day to day in TNA. We don't know their relationship. So this other book is more valuable because Dave can't spell Meltzer. Can't spell sir is fucking out here saying shit. So he goes, believe me, I know in great detail from both sides and had to sit on the Spike cancellation story until someone else broke it. So again, Dave wants to go, I knew about all of this stuff, but I didn't report on it because I had to wait till someone else reported on it because Mike Johnson's got bigger balls than me and I had to fucking wait till he reported it to have the nuts to fucking actually report something. What a shitty ass cheeks, bum cheek journalist this guy is. Else broke it, and Johnson continually denied it was canceled for months, but it was canceled, I think, in 2 weeks before it ever came out. So he didn't deny it was canceled. What Johnson did was held out. Why? Because Dixie Carter was holding out and negotiating to the wire per the Spike executives, Dave. To the fucking wire. Dave, and you don't study and learn the business, and you're a fucking liar.
Shut up, bitch.
I think 2 weeks before it ever came out, Dave Scherer even messaged me to say the cancellation story was fake when it was broken, but I knew better. Dave Scherer thinks you're a goofball. So what does that say? And then Niccolo Piccolo goes, bahaha, did anyone else see Mike Johnson just body Dave Meltzer? I'm here for dirt sheet on dirt sheet crime. This is better than the Hunger Games. Yeah, I am too, dude. I am too. So here's a throwback. Okay, here's a throwback. And Meltzer said what the Ghost posted this, and then we'll get into him just coping about WWE a bit. Meltzer said what the Goat says. Everyone talking about CM Punk's body transformation completely believed that then 56-year-old Dave Meltzer bulked up and had better abs than John Morrison. Now, I remember this clip. This is from 2019, dude, a lifetime ago. Because the weights in the gym started talking to him the weekend of McGregor versus Mendez to not just lift during the ads on Raw. So here's Dave claiming he had better abs than John Morrison. So like this person goes, says the guy who didn't know what a treadmill looked like. Dave goes, how many best abs, plaques, and trophies do you have from bodybuilding contests? So Dave uses steroids, okay? You can tell by his skin. You can tell by his hair falling out. You can tell by his tiny balls not willing to fucking report news, like until someone else does it and actually do real journalism. And he says, he claims he has a bunch of like ab and bodybuilding contest, whatever the fuck. But Dave clearly does roids and shit. He has for years and years, okay? And so Goat points out, just listen to these unhinged clips. These are throwbacks. These are flashback Meltzer moments, okay? So let's take a listen.
I got semi-serious the weekend of the McGregor Mendez fight because I like went to the, because I never went to the gym, right?
And I was there, and I was just in the gym to do, bike, like I always would do, And then I
just do cardio. That's how I look like this. Because I just do cardio.
There was like these weights there, and they were going like, Dave.
There were these weights there, and they were going, Dave. They were talking to me. He's delusional. Put him in jail before he harms himself or others. Right? Like, oh, so you hallucinate and are schizophrenic.
And they were going like, Dave, you want to lift weights? And it's like, no, I lift weights on Mondays during Raw. It's like, no, Dave, you really want to lift weights.
See? So he admits what I said. So now he just types at the computer during Raw. But when Raw's on, he just sits there and lift weights, half pays attention, music in his ears.
And there was like this lure, and I couldn't stop myself. So I started lifting weights, and then I get this big smile. Were you there that weekend?
I'm pretty sure I would have remembered this.
No, because you weren't there at the time. I think you were there that weekend, but you were not in the gym when these weights were talking.
I was definitely not in the gym when the weights were talking.
No. When the weights were talking to me, I know you weren't. I think you were there that weekend, though. But anyway, so they were talking to me, and then after they talked to me, and they go like,
I hear voices in my head, Bryan. They talk to me, they understand.
I do this all the time. It's like, no, I don't. And they go, yes, you do. So anyway, so I think that's kind of where it started. But then it wasn't really that serious. And then all of a sudden it got like what happened? It was you. It's always you, Bryan.
What did I do?
I went to that freaking PWG show, and I came back, and you started like going all off on me about that those pictures that were all over Twitter that night. This one, some PWG show, and then I came back, and we did the show, and I looked at myself, and I go, I'm gonna like tear all kinds of muscles. I need to stop doing this right now, but I didn't. So anyway,
Dave, you do steroids. You do steroids allegedly, in my opinion, and you've done it forever. And you probably creatine and whatever the fuck. You just take shit and then you go and crank. And I'm not trying to undermine anyone, but you can just tell. And he's old. He's in good shape even right now, but like his hair's falling out and shit. Like, come on, his brain's mush. Like, what do you think happens?
Anyway, so that was kind of that. And then like about 2 years ago, at 58, because so what Bruno said. At 58, it was kind of like, I actually got to do this hard, because if I'm just doing this like not half-assed, but like semi-hard, this is all going to go away. And then it's like, I'm going to be really sad. So that's when
I'm semi-hard, Bryan.
I started getting like,
whoa,
like really serious. And, but still, it's just like, it's inevitable, but it's nothing to be sad about. I mean, it's like, like if I was like, if it was one of those things where I'm doing this and it's like,
who cares, dude? You're 100 years old. No one cares about you going to the gym.
Looking like that, though.
So now listen to what he says. Johnny Mundo, of all people.
Oh, yeah? That doesn't help your case here, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
You're not too old to be looking like that. Give me a break.
No, you know what, though? Seriously,
this is like cringy boomer. No, I'm sorry. I always go to the boomer thing, but this is like cringy, like your boomer uncle. I'm sorry. I gotta do it. This is like you're at family Thanksgiving, and then your boomer uncle's like, I'm too old to be. Dave's like, I'm too old to be looking like that and muscular. No, you're never too old to be in shape. Now, this is his built-in excuse because he had to get off the fucking HGH, the human growth hormones or whatever, and he knew it.
This is gonna okay now.
And ever since he's done that, the fluids have drained from his fucking brain because creatine hydrates the shit out of you and stimulates your brain and keeps the fluids flowing everywhere. And since he's off that shit, he fucking has gone mush brain and his hair's falling out of his fucking head.
Okay, so there was like a little while ago,
all allegedly, in my opinion,
decided, since my weight is kind of down, and I used to have like really good abs, God, why am I wasting time talking about this?
Because you're humble bragging. You're humble bragging. Oh, I mean, I do have millions of dollars, but gee, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Like, shut the fuck up. I have abs. Why am I even bringing up my abs? Because you're a fucking mark for yourself. And this is why you love AEW, because they cater to you and you're a mark for yourself.
Dave is the devil. Oh. So anyway, I had this goal to have abs like Johnny Mundo, right?
So he's here this weekend, and I have better abs than Johnny Mundo right now.
Really?
Yep.
He was here. I saw him, and I have better abs than Johnny Mundo right now. Buddy, like Dave trying to get himself over other wrestlers. Like, bro, that is cringy as fuck, man.
For real. Because he was smoother than I don't have better abs than Matt Sydal. And I think there might be one or two other guys that were on. But like, I'm way older than these guys. But I think there were a couple of guys that maybe. But Johnny Mundo, I mean, it's not like he's fat. Johnny Mundo's got a great physique. Riddle frickin's got an incredible physique. That dude, I got it. Oh my.
And I'm sorry, like Johnny Mundo's has a better physique than fucking Riddle and shit. It's like for years now, if you stack them up, Dave, shut up, comparing himself to wrestlers. Oh, I got better abs than Mundo. Now, that was years ago. But still, it's fucking just cringe as fuck. Okay? So here is Bry and Dave crying about Oba and the Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam. Let's get into some WWE Cope and Crange.
Oba cut a hell of a promo, just basically saying, Paul had called him stupid for throwing away his title shot, which,
but he said
in storyline he was. His only excuse was, if I would have taken the match, you just would have interfered.
You'd have interfered and you'd have cost me anyway.
That's your explanation.
I don't know that he needed an explanation like that.
He shouldn't have said anything.
Because the problem now is that whether he wins or loses this match, unless Brock Lesnar disappears, which may happen, it's like, why would he go for a championship match now when he's already told us he already knows that Brock's going to interfere?
Well, also the story here is...
There you go, based Dave, actually, for pointing this shit the fuck out.
This is not the Money in the Bank. Like, he's not going to get a title shot whenever he wants. He threw it away. Paul said it in the promo. Like, that's the story. Aldis, or Adam Pearce was like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, he's just betting on himself. So they're telling a story where he's so confident. He's like, yes, because I will beat Brock. And when I do, my eyes are set on a title and I got to earn it again. Line them up. I'll knock them down. They all fold. I am the ruler. Fucking money. Is it the greatest, most compelling story right in my veins, the final boss? No, but Goldberg said nothing and did the same thing. You know what I mean?
He's not getting a shot.
He didn't give up a title shot, but he fucking,
So this is their explanation.
But he's not getting a shot, okay? So you fucking dum-dums like sports-based wrestling, right? So winning the King of the Ring, going, no, I don't want my title shot. I need to beat Brock because he'll just stick his nose in my business till I beat him once and for all and prove I am the ruler. And he fucking beats Brock, so you're not number one contender? Because I'll tell you what, if Ospreay was in WWE and he won the King of the Ring and then he said, bruv, I'm not doing a title shot, bruv, I'm Goku. And then he fucking beat Brock in a Hell in a Cell. You guys would go, well, he's the clear number one contender.
As to why he completely gave it up.
Well,
it was a shitty explanation.
No, it's not, Bry. You're cringe.
It was not a good story.
And now look at how Dave, here's the thing. He is sticking up for WWE. I want to give him points. Here's the problem, though. When it's AEW, we just listen to it. But no, well, they do it all the time, Brian. But when it's WWE, he's just like, yeah, it wasn't the best, but they're doing what they're doing good. It's okay. Here's what the story has.
Explanation, no. I mean, he could have just said, I want, the obvious explanation is just, I want Brock Lesnar so bad that I'm willing to forego a championship match to finish him off, and this is such a big match, and blah, blah, blah. As opposed to saying, well, if I took my championship match, I wasn't going to win it anyway because he was going to interfere. I didn't like him saying that.
There was no reason he would enter the tournament if you knew going in, I'm not going to take this.
Yeah, because WWE booked you. People didn't go, I'm signing up for the King of the Ring. I announce I'm joining. That's not how it works. They just pick the people, and then he won it. So Bryan's just like adding stipulations and making shit up.
Title shot.
Well, it's
This
not
guy
like-
might try to enter. Like, why'd you even enter?
He could enter the tournament and, whatever. But it's like now, it's like, yeah, in going back with the benefit of hindsight, it's like, why did you enter the tournament when you've already said that you couldn't win the championship because the other guy was going to cost you the title? So it's like,
Because he didn't know that then, because Brock didn't come back until later.
Why were you in it in the first place? Other than the obvious reason that they wanted him king of the ring and give him a big push coming off of the loss to Brock, and they felt that he needed something really big.
They're just explaining dumb shit, like, because if you follow the story, he didn't know. But now Brock showed up again with Weasel Paul Heyman, and he's like, this guy's just going to fuck with me again. I need to deal with this. It fits. It's perfectly timeline. It's a perfectly well-told story. It's totally fine.
But they don't want to do the championship match until Mania. But they wanted to get that in your head that this guy is
on the way to becoming a world champion. Imagine doing that, building up a fucking future superstar, megastar world champion. Imagine getting it in people's heads that he's going to be a world champ one day, and then he has some side quests, and then he becomes the world champ. Imagine that. Crazy.
in the championship picture. And he's the real top contender. And when we get to it, it's not just a title match, but a special title match. So that's all well.
It's a super top title match.
Good. But yeah, now if we look at it in hindsight, trying to look at logic, why did he enter the tournament? Yeah.
Nope. That's illogical, you dumbasses. That's illogical because it makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So here's Bryan just coping, seething, crying. We're almost done here, guys. SummerSlam is just a bunch of matches that I'm not all interested in. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't care.
But you succeed anyway.
Guys, honestly, the only match I'm intrigued by, really, is CM Punk and Cody.
Not Hell in a Cell?
Okay, you fucking, bro, you're a fucking 50-year-old man who just looks depressed, comes in with Eeyore energy, unless you're being fake, wearing a Hawaii shirt. No one gives a fuck what you're into, dude.
I mean this with
peep the key demo.
All due respect. I've already seen this match twice. I already saw Oba Femi beat the guy clean in 5 minutes. That's how this started.
You never saw them in a Hell in a Cell, guy.
This started, guys, with Oba Femi beating Brock Lesnar clean in the middle and allegedly retiring him.
And then Brock came and got his win back to make people like JJ's head explode, who were like, he's just going to come and get it. And then he did, and then he's going to give it up in the trilogy.
Which led to Brock just coming back and beating Oba Femi.
Right.
And now they're going to have a rubber match.
Yep.
Which obviously, what am I as a fan supposed to care about?
The fact it's in a Hell in a Cell and it's the rubber match and it's Minnesota where Brock is from and he already laid the boots down once, swerved everybody, probably is going to do it again, win or lose. Do they believe in Oba? Does Oba get it done? They're in a cell, so it ain't going to be a squash. They're going to do a match. Okay. It's in a cage. Brock has the whole UFC gimmick. It's the torch passing element. So as a fan, let's say, now this is where the mark shit comes into play. This is the same thing with comic books. Let's say you're like a fan of fucking Brock Lesnar and you see how at SummerSlam, The Rock passed the torch to Brock, and at Hell in a Cell, Undertaker in Hell in a Cell passed the torch to Brock. Not long after that, in the cage, Oba is Undertaker's guy. Brock is the one Oba hand chose. Brought all of that sicko wacko lore, if you will.
Oba beating Brock? I already saw it in 5 minutes and the guy retired afterwards. I mean, there's no title shot on the line. They're just doing it in a big cage. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I don't care.
And do we even know what night these matches are on?
No.
Well, that doesn't really matter.
Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. I have nothing against either guy, but they broke up 12 years ago. I've seen them.
Okay, and Okada versus Kenny happened a decade ago. And you don't yell like this when anybody goes, oh, it could be Okada, Kenny and shit. You're just like, okay.
Wrestle countless times. What is this for?
It's for the world heavyweight title.
I have no interest in Seth Rollins getting another reign as the champion.
He's probably not gonna.
I've been watching it now for over a decade. Roman Reigns retaining the title over Seth Rollins
in a banger 5-star fucking match, because like what did Punk and Roman do at Mania, and what did at Mania 40 with Rhodes? We saw that match 3 years in a row, and it fucking ruled. It was one of the greatest matches of all time. Like, what do you saying?
I don't care. It's 2026.
Yeah, it's 2026. So let's do Kenny Ospreay to main event AEW All In. Yay. 2 guys who were over in Japan a decade ago, Bri. Where's the same energy?
It's
these, you guys are clowns. Our last clip, how concerned, and this is Dave Meltzer talking about how concerned WWE should be about SummerSlam's disappointing ticket sales. Of course, he was sitting there going, ticket sales are great for All In, even though they're doing 50% off.
SummerSlam.
We're at about 22,000 each night. It's very, very disappointing. For
how
WWE.
concerned are they about this?
They have to be. I mean, I think this is the one where they overshot, ticket prices, but also a 2-day stadium thing for SummerSlam maybe was an overshot. I think
it's demanding of the fans, but they also got paid a shitload of money by Minnesota to put the fucking show there, and the streamers are happy because more people are just going to watch it on their streamers instead of fucking going to the event, clearly, because it's not like the 100,000 people that show up for the 2 nights of WrestleMania, whatever, give or take, obviously repeat tickets and shit. It's not like those people all don't watch all the other PLEs and shit. So
that's kind of how I look at it right now. Like, for a 1-day stadium, they've done all right. Maybe, it's like, again, WrestleMania didn't sell either night, and it's way bigger than SummerSlam. And they used we went back to Las Vegas as their excuse, which enabled them to not deal with the.
No, that wasn't the excuse. That's the excuse you invented and then said, oh, well, they're just using the excuse of they went back to Vegas. No, that's you reading Twitter. That's what the wackos say who defend WWE with every breath in their body. They are the ones who said, well, they went back to Vegas twice, and that's an L.
Idea that maybe it's not, our creative's not as good, or we're not as hot. This one, you kind of have to look in the mirror and go, okay, we ignore or we try to pretend, even though we listen to criticism, we pretend we don't. And these people know nothing, except guess what they're saying is starting to come true. And it's a reflection. Like they can't.
They never said these people know nothing. They never said they don't read social media.
This is the one they can't ignore. Nick Khan and Levesque. And
well, they do say that. It's like, obviously, but when Dave's like, they say that, it's like, no, Nick Khan said that. He's not Triple H. He's not who's backstage there. Shane Helms, who's clearly on Twitter. He's not like everybody. There's a bunch of people running this thing.
That they've never been in the decline from the peak, and they're clearly now.
And then Dave's like, they're pretending that that's wackos. Okay, that's like hardcore wackos who are pretending they haven't declined from the peak. Okay, people know, and the peak, okay, they'll peak again, buddy, like it's WWE. It's a 50, 60-year-old company. You guys always like to say that. Now, if they go 7 years straight of trending down, 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 then you have an argument. Then you can go, they're fucking up bad. But with no bloodline, no John Cena shit, no real compelling story, a bunch of stars still doing 12,000 Raws, major social media impressions, the stuff with the Knicks, all of this stuff. It's still peaking in many ways, Dave. You just look at one metric and then hang on to it.
From the peak. They're doing fine.
And then what about AEW? So they're not peaking at a 50% off sale, and they've only sold. So AEW can sell 25,000 for a 90-seater, and that's somehow better for a 90-seater, a 90,000 seater, and that's somehow better than WWE doing 25,000 for 2 nights in a 60,000 seater, 2 nights in a row. It's just mental.
They're making lots and lots and lots of money, but they have to start. I think Cena bought him a year. I think all this would have happened last year. And the creative for Cena wasn't good, but it was still Cena's last time in all these cities, last TV, last this, last that, and last world title reign. And with all that going on, I think that they got through that year, overcoming the fact that
through it like they're just scraping by and fucking.
They took the creative for granted. I mean, like, look, the biggest angle of last year made 0 sense in every way, shape, or form. That's not a good thing. They got away with it. Right now, they're not getting away with it anymore.
Imagine him saying that about if it's AEW, he goes, well, it doesn't matter what they do, Bryan.
SummerSlam.
It doesn't even matter. Who cares? But then it's like WWE. Oh, it just makes no sense. But he's kind of right about the creative. Like there could be a chance Triple H took that shit for granted, And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the week. We felted him. He got destroyed. He got mangled, bangled. We destroyed him. Flutes in the chat. What an amazing show, ladies and germs. CWJ for 5 says what no one will mention, 55 to 60 million live within a 4-hour drive to MetLife Stadium, 8 to 9.5 minute or within a 4-hour drive to US Bank Stadium. Holy fuck, this guy's dropping fucking travel math on us. Amazing, CWJ. Keep coming in with all your stats and shit. I don't know. I guess this makes sense. Thank you for that. I appreciate you all. Shout out the PWT universe, DMDMW universe. I'm going live, I think, tomorrow instead of Saturday. Be good. Drink lots of water. It's hot out there. I'm Phil S. Marks.
Sometimes in life, you got to be a hoe.
And I will see you next time.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting intrusive to the show. That they can go in the afternoon for a US
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon
this before you cut me off? We
Yes,
know
go ahead.
one thing.
Yes.
We know it
No, I'm not-
might have done well because
I'm
it went
not-
on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, he's not a loser.